Ah, welcome to the Shut Your Mouth Lounge episode number. What's the episode number?
189? 87.
189.
No, 187.
Fuck, 187. Ah, that guy who gave the episode numbers. That's Addy. The guy who hasn't said anything yet. That's Pink. I'm also Alex. Oh, fuck you. Don't interrupt me.
Somebody had to do it.
Yeah, someone's got to get me out of my bullshit eventually.
Yeah, I didn't interrupt you this week, so Pink had to step in. We do share a body after all.
What did you do last week?
It was like having a conversation with yourself.
Yeah, it was weird.
Huh. All right.
Last week's podcast was 40 minutes of Pink and I saying the same thing in unison.
Oh. Well, I'm sure that made for interesting content.
Yeah, it was one person talking to himself in stereo.
But in two different voices somehow.
I guess you could say he was moving in stereo.
Oh, man!
Yeah. That's an okay song. Not really a great one, just an okay one.
You saw Stranger Things Season 3, right? They use that song?
I did it? I don't remember.
Yeah. So the scene is when Billy's coming out to the pool with the lifeguard, and all the older women are fawning over him.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting choice. Not what I would expect, but yeah, I guess that works.
Yeah.
Boy, that was kind of weird in hindsight.
Maybe a little bit.
Whoops. Okay, there we go. All right. So, Pink, have you got anything coming out on your channel this week?
I don't think so. I have some stuff in the backlog, but I don't think I have any intention of releasing anything this week because I haven't sorted it all out yet.
Eddie, do you got anything coming out on your channel this week?
Well, my upload schedule has been inspired by Avril Lavigne. It is very complicated. But
okay.
Basically,
you heard the song and you're like, God damn, I should make my life more complicated.
I need to take off my preppy clothes.
Life is just too simple. Let's make it more complex.
Yeah. Well, let's add Roman candles to it. And variable wake-up timing. Anyway, so basically, I have a backlog, and we are shooting a series with Pink where, because of the game's nature, I need to edit it a lot for the actual series that's gonna release on this channel. So I'm thinking about maybe releasing the full streams of those on my second channel. But the actual scheduling of when those release and if they release at all is up for debate. So
how long will YouTube let you schedule ahead?
Forever.
Oh.
Until the end of time. Whatever that may be.
That offers a lot of choices.
Google has control of when the world ends. Once they decide you can't upload on this specific date, that's it. That's all she wrote.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Y2K, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Boy, that was kind of stupid.
Yeah. Apparently there's a Y2K thing going on with like mid 2000s GPSs, because I forget exactly what happened, but like on December 20 something of 2020, so most of their OS is bugged and they don't work anymore.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, technology. We all love refrigerators in this call.
Well, I do love refrigerators because, I mean, the alternative would be having to stick things in piles of ice or salt, which would not be great.
This is true.
We could always just go back to the old ice boxes.
Mm-mm. No, we can't. Fuck you.
But
That's asking way too much of us.
You don't wanna pay premium for the ice guy to freaking deliver to you on block of ice that you then put into a metal box that sits under your other metal box, so that the upper metal box can be a bit colder.
Yeah,
Yep.
not really.
Proto refrigerators were great.
So, on my own channel, there will be goddamn nothing coming out this week, and probably for several weeks afterward because of the current internet situation. But I gotta say, in these couple weeks where I can't upload anything, can't record any videos, boy, it's now where I'm like, man, I should record something with this. I should record something about that. You know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you can always just do the Vinecells jolting and just record a metal album doing a freaking shitty cover of Ghostbusters to a very bad MIDI.
Why would I do that specifically now?
Because you don't have internet.
That's what Joel does when he goes without internet?
Yeah, he has an album called Super Ghostbusters that's like 50 or so minutes of him singing over a bad Ghostbusters MIDI that he made because his internet went down for a full day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he is as ever the font of wisdom. The great thing about this phone is that sometimes I don't realize when I'm talking over someone because I have to kind of like flip it sometimes to talk into it.
Right.
So I'll just start talking, and then I vaguely in the distance start to hear Pink talking. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, have I and him been talking at the same fucking time again? Oh, yeah, I guess if I do want to do a video at some point, I should probably do another Total War Warhammer tutorial, because apparently those do quite well. Like, have I talked about this yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I made a tutorial and it didn't do so hot at first, and I got frustrated, and then now it's up to like 3.6 thousand views.
Yeah, you need to get lucky.
I don't understand YouTube.
You need to get lucky. Like, I think I have been name dropping him a lot recently, but Kedikarus is a guy I've been following since 2012, 2013 maybe? Something like that. Pretty much since the start of his channel. And he's big on streaming recently. Well, not recently, but for me recently, because I didn't freaking give a shit, so I didn't know about it. But
yeah,
people have asked him about YouTube and how YouTube works and stuff like that during those streams, and he just goes, "No one knows." Like the only way even he gets views is if he gets lucky.
Yeah, I'd say Spiffing Brit's got it down to a science, but when you do it like Spiffing Brit does, where you deliberately make meme videos that exploit SEO, you never it's harder to develop a consistent audience, and you have to spend more time chasing after SEO. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not to say that Spiffing Brit hasn't developed a certain character that people watch him for. I watch videos that he happens to do that interest me, though admittedly Spiffing Brit also does a lot of videos that don't interest me. And there's certainly times where he uploads like something cryptocurrency is perfectly balanced, something or other, and it's like, Spiff, I don't give a shit. That motherfucker is unpredictable. He does so many things that are just honest to God exploits, but like the other day, he just released a video. GTA 4 is perfectly balanced, but it's not any like actual exploits. It's just him doing the swing set glitch and a few other glitches.
Sure. That's what we call running out of content.
What I think that's called is Wooly of the Super Best Friends had a term for it. When you make videos, Wooly said you should have a philosophy. Something for me, something for them. Something for me, something for them. Something for both of us. and you keep going on like that, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends on whether or not your interests are that much different than what people come to you for. Like we don't have shit people come to us for. Technically, I guess people come to me for Sengoku Basara reviews, but like,
Fuck those people, apparently.
no, I mean like the thing is, I'll do like what most people I have watched have said, and what the way I do things is just I do the shit that I want to do, and then if people like it, then people like it, and if people don't like it, then people don't like it, and there's not much I can do to change that. Because like if I try to play to like what other people want, then I will fucking hate making videos, and you know, kind of
Wouldn't
need,
hate the paycheck though.
yeah.
We can't all be ninja and enjoy games for small children while our wives have no bras and make sandwiches, huh?
Yeah.
Boy, ain't that tweet the fucking best.
What?
That guy just demands to be made fun of. Did you see the edit someone made where it's instead him saying that his wife was wearing a bra, didn't make him a sandwich, and he fucking lost his Fortnite game, and then it's just a Photoshop picture of him crying shittily like that Brendan Fraser edit?
No, I don't follow like not only do I not follow Ninja, I don't follow people who talk about Ninja. Like, I'm so far divorced from that guy that I have no clue what's going on with him. The only way I know that he still exists sometimes is just people going, "Oh hey, funny blue hair, aha, Ninja joke, yay," and then that's about it.
I follow a few streamers who don't suck, so they every now and then just tweet out, "Man, fuck Ninja."
I think I follow like 3 streamers overall. I don't even watch Joel. I watch someone's mini edits of Joel, which are official, by the way. Joel made them official, but yeah.
Oh god, I don't watch any streams. Like, no. Ugh.
I watch streams sometimes because some like streams are good for background noise, and a lot of times
Yes.
a lot of times I'm like, you know, I would rather not listen to Smite, or or there are even days where I just don't want to play games, and I'm just like, sure, I'll watch fucking this guy play. Let's see what I can actually bring up a real example. Sure, I'll watch Jerma freaking clean fake houses for 4 hours. Why not? No one uploaded anything today, so I might as well watch that, I guess.
Well, that's just a simple, quiet one. And to be fair, I've watched very little of Jarma, but my understanding is that Jarma is one of those guys who can make paint drying interesting.
Yes, Jerma is basically like Jerma is kind of the thing I aspire to be, because he's fucking weird, but he doesn't care. He just does whatever.
Yep, and sometimes he steps up from his chair and he's got a gigantic ass.
Yes, I sent that picture to you.
I know that bit. That's one of the only bits I know, but I know that bit. What was that thing where he like paid a bunch of money to make a stream that was just him like digging for shit in a desert?
Oh yeah, I was there. That was that was the number of most watched stream on Twitch that day. But yeah, so sometimes he like, because Jerma doesn't give a shit. He usually plays video games, but sometimes he just like, you know what, I'm gonna spend a lot of money and I'm gonna make something that I wanna do. And I mean, even when he plays games, he doesn't give a fuck about what people want really. But like, yeah. So like, he don't actually know how much he spent, but he got drunk after the carnival stream, and then he nearly flubbed telling the viewers how much he actually spent on it. But basically, he spent like somewhere between $10,000 and $40,000 on making a carnival stream with robots. where
Oh my god!
Yeah, where the viewers could play carnival games with him IRL, and the viewers control the robots. That was a fun stream. Then there was the archaeology stream, is what he called it. That was actually a geology stream. and he got an actual geologist, like a real scientist, out with him into the middle of the Nevada desert, so that they can look at a couple of rock formations and like minerals and shit like that. And then also he can like take chocolate rocks and eat it in front of the guy because he didn't tell them that they were chocolate.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Yes.
And stuff like that. So you know.
That's the kind of prank that's good. I like that kind of prank.
Like after that stream, the Nevada freaking geology something or other institution's website crashed because so many people went to donate to them. So you know. Yeah,
all right.
German's a nice dude. German's a nice dude.
All right.
And then
so
yeah, go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was just going to ask where we were. So.
Oh, I was just okay. So what is coming out on the FOS channel, Addy?
Right.
Since I can't check.
Yeah. So on Monday we have Part 9 of Strider. Then on Tuesday we have Part 3 of Left 4 Dead 2. And I didn't title Left 4 Dead 2, I just wrote Left 4 Dead, so I'm gonna have to fix that. But yeah, Part 3 of Left 4 Dead 2.
All right, I don't remember which one that was, but they were all entertaining to record.
That was the second session with Mike. That's the first half of the second session with Mike.
Okay, so like where we started to know the game a bit more, but it was still like it was that run we did through like a Left 4 Dead 1 level where we just got our asses beat.
I think so.
Oh yeah, was that the one with the finale where I turned off my recording?
Yes.
Shit. Mike still hasn't uploaded his perspective on that one yet. We have to wait for that one because, like, he's got the true ending. I've not mentioned it to him yet. It always slips my mind. I need to mention that to him later.
I mean, it's a bit late. Like, I just. Because it would have been.
Well, you mean it's a bit late?
Well, it would have been nice if you uploaded it so that I could actually edit it into our thing as well, so we can have multiple perspectives and shit. You know.
But we can just put the link in the description.
But yeah, so that then on Wednesday, I think. I don't freaking know. Whatever. On the 21st, we have the second round of King of Fighters 2002 Fighting Games R. All
right.
Where nothing really happened and we just talked about Guilty Gear instead.
Yeah. It's the trouble with Guilty Gear, not Guilty Gear, KOF 2002 is that it's just a lot like KOF 98, but missing extra mode and with some more characters. And we've already talked about KOF 98.
And no story.
Yep. Nothing to do in single player. It's pretty well just a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
Then on Friday, we have Ratchet and Clank Part 10. That's the last part of Session 1 of Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank has been finished for 2 months. 2 months!
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And that's it. That's this week.
All right. So, Pink, what have you been up to for this past week, man?
A little bit. So, what did I start off with? Black Widow. I watched Black Widow.
Oh, all right. So I've been hearing mixed things.
I believe that. I am still myself kind of mixed on it. I wanted to like it. Parts of me really liked it. Other parts of me are totally uninterested in it. It's a week later now, a little over, maybe under, I don't know. Almost a week later, I think. And I'm still not certain how I feel with it on a whole. Because there were a lot of things that they did that I thought they shouldn't have done. and there was a lot of things that they didn't do that I feel like they could have done. My initial and so far lasting impression is that it's very comparable to The Winter Soldier, but without the heart, without the soul, and without any type
Chris
of
Evans.
leverage on your audience. Because in this movie, you know, it takes place after Civil War. So it's like any dangerous situation Natasha's put in, we already know she's going to survive it because she won't die until Infinity War, or Endgame, rather.
Is it set after
So,
Civil War?
yes.
Oh, I thought this was like set in the 90s.
Would it have been? No, it can't have, it couldn't have been set in the 90s, because that would make Natasha like I don't know, but older than she is.
Well, do they
'Cause-
not? Well, in the comics, like Natasha can be however old just because she's got the super soldier serum. That's pretty well immortality. But do they not
Right.
give her that in this movie? Because I was kind of wondering if they would.
Oh, they did not.
Okay, well, I guess I was wrong then. For some reason, I assumed
that is completely not a thing.
I thought I had heard that. Maybe that was like one of those things that just gets thrown around early on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that does explain with Yelena Belova, because I was thinking like, there's no way they'd give Yelena Belova the fucking super soldier serum.
Right.
Well, it wouldn't even make sense. I was about to say it wouldn't make sense to give Natasha the super soldier serum because like Scarlett Johansson's not that big. But then I was like, oh wait, they did Falcon and Winter Soldier. The super soldier serum doesn't have to make you big anymore.
Yep. we got the B brand when it comes to super soldier serums. You know, Steve's the only one who got to increase in size. What a ripoff.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's because yeah, that little actress they hired for Flag Smasher, pretty tiny. So it'd be kind of goofy if they were like they had to CG massive muscles onto her. Uh, all right. So yeah, what I heard was movie was mostly uninspired. Yelena Belova and Red Star are the best parts. Taskmaster is the worst part.
I'm willing to agree with all of that.
Okay, and they're going to be bringing Yelena Belova out for more stuff, right?
I certainly hope so.
Okay, so here's the thing. Yelena Belova is a character I've heard about before. I know a lot of characters, a lot of comic book storylines, a lot of Marvel stuff. I have no earthly fucking clue what Yelena Belova has ever done of any real significance in Marvel Comics.
I'm going to be completely honest here and say I'm kind of in the same boat.
Oh,
I
that's rare.
Yeah, I have read issues where she is in them, and if I remember correctly, the thing I remember most about her is way back during the Dark Reign saga type thing.
Yeah.
Back when Yelena was kind of infiltrating the Dark Avengers or whatnot. That's what I'm aware of, but that was all retcon to where, oh, it wasn't Yelena, it was just Natasha in a blonde wig. So, yeah, I
mean,
kind of don't really have any strong understanding of the character in the comic book world, because it's like she exists, and then I know her from this story, but that story turns her into Natasha, so okay. It's weird.
yeah, my understanding always was that in the comics, Yelena is just pretty well Natasha, but blonde, that the writer uses whenever they don't get access to Natasha.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Weird. And we're perfectly cool spoiling this movie, right?
Are you?
I'm perfectly cool spoiling it because I already know I already know why the film has any significance to the MCU, which is that the ending ends with Julia Louis-Dreyfus adding Yelena to the Thunderbolts, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so Marvel is basically just making up their own Disney is basically just making up their own Thunderbolts team, basically.
More or less,
No.
seems like. I'm thinking
Yeah,
it's
no,
gonna be a kind of compromise between Thunderbolts and Dark Avengers, or maybe I
well,
don't
there's no way they're
know.
doing classic
Honestly.
Thunderbolts with fucking Beetle and Moonstone.
Hey, those characters are awesome. Shut up.
No, I love Beetle. I don't know about Moonstone, but I love Beetle, but there's no way they're going to do him, you know?
Right. So yeah, it to me it feels like it's I don't know. It's more like maybe taking the normal Thunderbolts and the 2012 Marvel Now Thunderbolts that was government sponsored, if I recall correctly. Maybe it's
Yeah, the
like
one with Luke
a
Cage and
compromise
Shocker,
between
right?
those. What's that?
The Thunderbolts would line up with Luke Cage and Shocker, right?
That was a little bit before, but yeah, around that same time frame. I was thinking the stupid Red Hulk one.
Oh, yeah. Red Hulk's when Red Hulk was in the Thunderbolts, Red Hulk wasn't on Norman's Thunderbolts, right?
No, he was not.
Yeah, even though he like worked perfectly as an evil copy of the Hulk, and the whole thing with Norman's Thunderbolts was that they were all evil copies. Yeah, but I guess Red Hulk's not really evil. He's just an asshole.
Ah,
Half Norman's Thunderbolts weren't really evil. They were just assholes. The only ones who were like especially bad were Bullseye and Mac Gargan.
yep.
And Mac Gargan wasn't that bad until he started eating people. Yeah, it's going to be weird then seeing an entirely new Thunderbolts lineup comprised of characters like this, which like they've got good old John Walker, but John Walker usually walks the line between good and evil. And Yelena Belova isn't particularly evil in the Black Widow movie, is she?
No.
Okay, so if they're setting up for Norman's Thunderbolts, then they probably aren't doing it. So do you think they're setting up for fucking Zemo to take over the Thunderbolts?
Yes.
Okay, that'd be interesting. I guess the question then is who forms up the remainder of the Thunderbolts? Because there are a couple characters like they're just not going to. There are a lot of characters they're just not going to be able to do. Because like there's no way they're going to acknowledge the fucking Netflix Bullseye, you know?
Right.
Oh, by the way, did you see that they've finally had Ryan Reynolds Deadpool interact with the MCU?
I've seen it. I've not actually watched it.
Yeah, it's not very impressive. It's kind of kitschy. It's just that him and Taika Waititi advertising their new movie by pretending to be Deadpool and Korg, right?
Yeah.
But it's still weird because it's like full-blown CGI budget of Deadpool and Korg sitting on a couch together. And I think Deadpool even says, you know, I was hoping for a bigger guy from the MCU, but instead they sent me Korg. Which I like. I love Korg. Korg's like, with Thor Ragnarok, I'm one of the only people who says that they prefer the Asgard fantasy sections over the sci-fi stuff on planet. What's it called?
I don't remember.
Fuck it, the Grand
Sakaar.
Sakaar. Yes, I'm pretty well the only person on the planet, I guess, who considers the parts on Sakaar to be the weaker parts of Thor Ragnarok. But Korg is the best part of those parts. All right. Did you do anything else this past week, Pink?
Yeah, the finale of Loki.
Oh,
Season
okay.
one.
I know a little bit. I spoiled myself a bit, but all I spoiled myself on is like the main villain and what happens there and the other Lokis. That's just all I've spoiled myself on. And even that other Loki's bit, only a little bit.
Right.
I think I spoiled something for Pink last week accidentally. Because he,
Did you?
well, you said that you heard about the thing, but you said that you didn't see it.
The The Thanos copter?
Yes.
Ah.
The most important part of Loki.
Yeah, at this point, I've still only seen a screenshot of it. I've not actually gone back through the episodes to find it. But I know it exists now, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's one version of Thanos we're never going to see in the movies now. Lame jobber Thanos.
What if freaking they do another reset and Thanos comes back, but it's freaking it's Satsui no Hado Thanos from MBC4 or whatever Infinite.
Dude, you have no idea how much I want Marvel vs. Capcom 4 to happen, and for it to entirely ignore the plot of Infinite, except for Thanos stealing the Satsui no Hado. You have no idea how cool that would fucking be. No, you know how fucking cool that'd be.
Yeah.
What am I saying? We all know how cool that'd fucking be.
I mean, really, what they need to do for Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is they need to go away from the X Factor bullshit and whatever was in freaking Infinite and all of that shit. Just give everyone the Satsui no Hado. I want Rocket Raccoon with the fucking 10 kanji on his back.
No. What they need is to do like CVS 2, where the final boss of arcade mode can either be Thanos with a Satsui no Hado or Akuma with the Infinity Gauntlet.
And what would Akuma even use the Infinity Gauntlet for? Like, he doesn't.
The Power Stone and only the Power Stone.
Maybe like Akuma doesn't strike me as the most creative guy. He does make up moves of his own, but that's because that's his power. Yeah,
well, if he's got the Power Stone, then all of his normals now shoot projectiles.
Yeah, but it wouldn't work canonically because Akuma he hates taking shortcuts to power. Ah, shit.
Well, instead of that, well, here's the thing: Akuma fucking absorbing Rugal's power is kind of a shortcut to power.
True.
The crossover games don't pay that close of attention to canon.
They could make it work, but I don't know if they would.
Yeah. Well, it's Marvel vs. Capcom 4 probably just straight up isn't going to happen, at least not for another decade.
Yeah.
Okay. Pink. So we got to mention the other Lokis to Addy.
Right.
Because three of them aren't going to be a surprise. We got Kid Loki, we got Girl Loki, and we got old man Loki. But you want to know the fourth Loki, Addy?
Horse Loki?
Better.
What?
What's he called in the series, Pink?
Does he have an actual designation, or is it just the animal plus Loki?
I don't remember.
I don't
Loki?
You did. No.
Okay. I was about to
it's
say.
It's actually scaly.
I mean, look, dude, I'm in the dragons. It's fine.
The fourth Loki is Alligator Loki.
Ah.
It's literally just an alligator wearing the Loki helmet.
Sure.
And does he use magic or anything like that at any point in the series?
He's just there.
It's just an alligator wearing the Loki helmet.
Why not? I mean, I kind of wish they just went with Horse Loki then. Because that would be both mythical and funny. But I won't complain.
Well, my understanding is that the reason it's Alligator Loki is just because, the implication is that the time travel, agency fucked up and just grabbed a random alligator.
Oh.
It's not even supposed to be Loki. It's just, honest to God, a poor random animal that's had a fucking Loki helmet strapped on and zipped off to a time travel prison cell.
Why not? I mean,
there's just something I just fucking adore when there's identity screw ups like that. They're just beyond stupid. But when it's a cosmic agency that controls the fucking timeline, it's just good. So, Pink, if I understand this correctly, the plot there is that the time travel agency was collecting every Loki who had somehow escaped their death at the hands of Thanos, right? Because Loki is supposed to die to the hands of Thanos, right?
Yes and no. There's the old man Loki's story will kind of make you question that, but overall I would say yes, because well, classic Loki we'll call him. He tells our Loki that he doesn't get killed by Thanos. He projects an illusion that is so incredibly real that Thanos thinks he kills him. And then classic Loki just goes off to another planet and chills there for the rest of his life. And he's not taken away by the TVA until he decides, hey, I'm going to go back to Earth and see my brother again. And they're like, nope, that's against the rules. So, yes, the implication is that Loki must die at the hands of Thanos. But it also seems like maybe he doesn't have to die, he just can't go back to Earth. He can't interfere anymore with the Avengers.
Okay, so this is their way of saying to Loki fangirls, your character doesn't have to die, but we don't have anything to do with him anymore.
Yeah. You know I was cheering like a fangirl at that moment.
Okay, so Loki as a character is pretty well done now, right?
It's just getting started.
Oh, what?
It is just getting started.
I think.
Oh, so are female Loki and Kid Loki going to replace main Loki?
No, but they might be add-ons.
The Sinister Loki.
Okay, I thought for certain Loki was just done.
Nope.
I think there's gonna be a season 2.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
That is the end credit tease. Loki will return in season 2.
Oh shit. Well, WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Captain America and the Winter Soldier aren't getting season 2s, are they?
Nope. As far as we know, that is a big no.
Yeah, because my understanding was that, at least for Captain America and the Winter Soldier, they were just going to do a Captain America 4 movie.
Yep. That was
weird.
A couple months ago, actually.
I was going to say the actor.
Confirmed, rather.
I was going to say the actor's name real quick, but I fucking I'm not sure if I remember it correctly. The actor of Loki.
Tom
Hiddleston.
All right, so I did remember it correctly. But yeah,
oh man,
Tom Hiddleston is just too powerful for cancellation. Loki will.
Yeah, my understanding.
Loki will overtake Coronation Street as the longest running soap opera series.
And I'm here for it.
The weird thing is, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans have both wanted out of their roles for a while now, and they finally got to retire from playing Tony and playing Cap. But my understanding is Tom Hiddleston adores playing Loki, because Owen Wilson did an interview around the time that the first episode of Loki released, and he said that he had not watched any MCU stuff going in, and figured he'd probably be fine, because he's like, it's just a superhero show, it don't matter that much. And then he goes in, and like, his character is supposed to know Loki up and down, left and right, correct, Pink?
Right.
So he asks Tom Hiddleston, like, after a scene they do, he's like, okay, well, it's probably important to my character that I know this about you, so, like, what does Loki feel about this? Tom Hiddleston then took Owen Wilson aside and gave him an entire 30-minute monologue on the character of Loki, his motivations, his past, what he can do, his magic powers, his limits, and everything.
So what you're saying is...
Wilson...
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I guess Owen Wilson just walked away from it going, oh shit, this Marvel stuff is a lot more serious than I thought.
Yeah, so what you're saying is that eventually we will get a TV series that is just Loki fighting Deadpool continuously forever.
I would not be opposed to that. If it's Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, I would not be opposed to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because both Hiddleston and Reynolds seem to like their characters enough to play them until they die, so hey, might as well use it.
All right, what was your general take on the series, Pink?
My general take, contrary to most opinions I've seen, actually, I freaking loved it.
Oh,
I I don't think the finale is a good finale because it's not a it is not
It's a setup for
really a
Ant-Man and the
finale
Wasp.
for a series. It's more or less a setup for everything in the MCU going forward. So it doesn't put a nice cap on the series on a whole.
It's a setup for everything. I'd only heard Ant-Man and the Wasp.
No, I will say everything. This finale has major implications for the MCU on a whole. And if somebody else doesn't feel that way, I'm sorry, you watched the wrong show, or you have maybe missed a scene or two. But no, this should be resonating throughout the entire MCU. I don't see any way it can't.
Eventually, we will reach the freaking cosmic story of that fucking like symbiote god.
Right.
No, he won't. Shut the fuck up. God, I wish the symbiote were just an alien again, you know?
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
What is that series called?
Okay.
In Black?
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they also reveal that like all the symbiotes are actually nice and beneficial. It's only the Venom symbiote and the Carnage symbiote that are that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Why did they need to complicate
I will say
these
there
things?
is one
It's
thing
just,
I did.
it's just sentient goop. Like,
Some writer thinks he's a genius for deepening the lore or something like that. I gotta say, there is one thing they've done with the Venom symbiote recently that I liked, which was there was a storyline. I don't know how long it lasted. I'm going to assume they cut it because it actually sounded interesting and they needed to replace it with something shitty like usual.
Yeah.
But it was a storyline where after Flash Thompson died and the Venom symbiote got separated from him, the Venom symbiote attached itself to a mercenary, like Soldier of Fortune type. And it wound up having the inverse of the usual Venom and host relationship because the Venom symbiote had grown so used to Flash Thompson that the Venom symbiote was used to being a good person and a hero. But this Soldier of Fortune type was, of course, like, I'm going to use the Venom symbiote to steal lots of shit, make lots of money. So the Venom symbiote was like, no, we should be helping people, not this. Because, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? Because the reason why Venom always has the powers and appearance he does is because the Venom symbiote got so used to pee, right?
yeah.
Yes.
So it makes sense. The Venom symbiote gets used to its host, so there would be a little bit of a shock when it moves on to a new host.
Indeed.
It would be weird, though, moving on to a new host, and it's like, so where's the machine guns? What do you mean you don't want to bring machine guns? I understand the appeal of Flash Thompson as Venom, but man, Venom with guns is such a stupid idea.
Yeah.
I will concur with you on that.
The thought just occurred to me. The thought just occurred to me. Is Flash Thompson Venom straight up just Spawn?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Like he's a war veteran with history as like a super Black Ops agent who has powers that are kind of like he can just make whatever he wants, but he almost always just uses them to make guns.
Yeah.
I don't know. Eddie Brock is still the only Venom to me.
I'm fine with Matt Gargan as like Venom, like someone who lost control of the symbiote and went fucking ape shit and makes Eddie Brock look great by comparison, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I just haven't read a lot with the other hosts. It was just usually like either Flash, or there was that one time when the Venom symbiote got assimilated into Carnage for some reason. Something symbiote got again. Holy shit! And then both Flash and Eddie had to team up to try and get it back because Cthulhu symbiote monster and Deadpool may have been there. I don't remember.
Oh god, right? Was that?
No, Deadpool wasn't there, but Carnage was. And Carnage was like an Aztec god, and then he summoned Cthulhu symbiote or the Carnage symbiote left Cletus or something like that because it wanted to be part of the Cthulhu symbiote or something like that. It was really stupid.
Was this around the time where Carnage was going around and drinking everyone's spinal fluid to become a god?
I don't know. Maybe.
I feel like having Carnage eat people gives him too much of a reason to kill. I always thought that Carnage was better because he just didn't have a reason to kill. He just did it because he enjoyed it, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
I've always not been a fan of the symbiotes eating people. The only one I was fine with was Matt Gargan because, again, Matt Gargan was a weak idiot who let it take control, you know?
Yep.
But like Eddie and Cletus, and definitely not Flash, should never let the symbiote eat people. And yet that's become the popular perception of Venom is, oh yeah, he's the superhero who eats people.
yeah.
And every time it's like, oh, fucking kill me.
You filthy casuals.
Honestly, I kind of wouldn't mind freaking I forget which story it was, but I wouldn't mind if after Carnage is introduced into whatever with freaking Venom 2, I guess. Like after that, if they do another, if they adapt the switcheroo storyline where Carnage becomes good and then he accidentally kills a guy and gives PTSD to the woman he tried to save, like that's just a really funny picture to me.
Heroic Carnage, who was like, the robbers can't rob the bank if I burn it down.
Yeah. Like that's
yeah. No, go ahead.
Like I only like classic freaking serial killer Carnage and freaking and that like heroic Carnage that doesn't know how to actually be a hero is funny.
Well, the weirdest version of Carnage I think is Ultimate Carnage, who was just a symbiote without a host that eats Gwen Stacy, but then becomes confused and becomes Gwen Stacy.
to be the Gwen, you gotta eat the Gwen. Oh shit. And for all
I was about to say that must be interesting for.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say, for all we know, Spider-Man was Gwen all along.
We're all Gwen Stacy in our hearts.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to say that must be interesting for Peter, but Ultimate Gwen Stacy was implied to be lesbian, wasn't she?
If she was, I don't know. That may have been established after I had jumped off that boat. Because in her first initial appearances, which I remember very well, she was not.
Well, I definitely remember that her and Peter were never a thing in Ultimate, which was one of the big differences between Ultimate and the main canon, correct?
Yeah, for the most part, I think that's correct. Which is a chapter.
Ultimate Peter's first girlfriend instead of Gwen was, well, instead of Liz Torres, I guess.
Was everyone.
Yeah, was Kitty Pryde, correct?
No. She actually comes after Mary Jane.
Oh, god damn it. Why is every writer who was born... Why is every writer... Every writer after like 2000 thinks it's fucking brilliant to make Peter and MJ be an on and off couple. But like they don't read old comics and know that Peter had like 4 on and off relationships before Mary Jane.
Right? The man's a stud. He's super smart. He's very athletic looking. Yeah, he kind of has to bat off the woman with a bat. So, but no.
I remember there was a comic where I want to say like Peter goes to Johnny, right, Human Torch, and complains about, man, Johnny, you always get the ladies. What does a man like me got to do? And Johnny just starts laughing at his ass off.
I just want to point out that at least in crossover canon, it is canon that Spider-Man and Morrigan were a thing. So,
I don't know if they outright say it, but yeah, the Marvel vs. Capcom crossovers do imply some relationships like that. Like Chun-Li hits on Thor, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that if you look at Chun-Li hits on Nash, hits on Thor, and I think there's one other instance where Capcom has consistently made Chun-Li have a thing for muscular blondes. Weird.
Yeah, the weirdest one was when Chun-Li hit on Lex Luger. The total package.
Indeed.
The total let Miss Elizabeth have an overdose in his house. Weird.
Oh yeah.
I nearly fuck.
Hey, you can make fun of Lex Luger as much as you want, man. Don't hold back.
Well, I don't think
Lex
it's making.
Luger's not a sacred name.
I don't think. I don't. The issue is that I don't think the joke is making fun of Lex. So I was going to say, I guess his shirt was too tight, Billy. Anyway.
That's why it took him so long to call 911. It wasn't the fact that he'd be worried that it was his drugs. No. The shirt was just too tight. He had to rip it off.
He couldn't.
God, that guy is fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
Is he still in charge of WWE's wellness program?
That's the first I
Which
hear about
one?
that.
He was like a big guy for the wellness program at some point, which is like the biggest cosmic joke in the fucking universe.
I don't recall this.
Huh, all right. Maybe I'm misremembering things, but I could have swore he was something big to do with the wellness program, which, like, as soon as I read that, I was like, fucking why him of everyone, Vince?
He's taken so many drugs.
I know Vince didn't like Macho Man, but Jesus.
Lex is like a drug hound. He can smell the drugs.
Yeah. Yeah, you just walk into the locker room one day, you see Lex Luger has torn open someone's bag and just swallowed loads of cocaine, and it's like, Lex, what the fuck? And Lex is like, don't worry, I got a boss, he ain't gonna touch it, I ain't gonna fuck.
Oh, maybe he volunteered himself for that position as a kind of drug finder.
Yeah, he'll destroy the
He
evidence,
wouldn't be
alright?
accused.
But
He's
who would
above the law.
accept him?
Because it's Vince!
But, like, that's such an obvious PR fuck up. The guy who famously had his girlfriend die of an overdose, and his girlfriend was one of the most famous women in wrestling history.
Yeah.
She died of an overdose in his fucking house.
Yeah.
On his fucking drugs. Everyone knew Lex Luger was a fucking dealer. Everyone.
Man, wrestling's weird.
And he left his fucking wife to be with Miss Elizabeth as well.
Oh, I did not know that part.
And their kids. Lex Luger's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Oh, man. Thinking of stuff like this, I always just remember, I probably told you guys about it, but when Christopher Plummer passed away, I saw a tweet that I very much liked. It just said, Christopher Plummer once again filling a role that should have gone to Kevin Spacey. Oh, God. All right. Pink, what else have you done this week? Other than, well, I guess you should probably talk more about Loki, especially considering there's a certain rather important character that they introduced very abruptly. I was not expecting the character to get introduced.
Yeah. So, well, the thing is, going into it, I didn't expect him, but all the signs are pointing that way. But I still felt like they were going to pull out a swerve and be like, nope, it's somebody else. And no, they actually went with it. So I was
It's me, Austin.
What's that?
Oh, no, it's me, Loki. It was me, Loki. It was me all along, Loki.
Right. So, yeah.
All that blue skin son of a bitch.
Kang the Conqueror.
Kang the motherfucking Conqueror. I've been waiting a long time to see Kang in the MCU. I was worried they wouldn't do him because he's kind of a goofy character.
Yep.
And I'm still worried that since he's going to be in Ant-Man, they're going to turn him into a fucking joke because Ant-Man's a fucking joke, you know.
Right.
Which, I mean, to be fair, as the Ant-Man villains have gone, like, the Thug in Ant-Man and the Wasp was a joke, but they didn't turn Ghost into a joke.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they do that. And if Ant-Man wants to have a joke villain, just have some other side shitty guy.
Yeah.
And maybe don't waste a talented actor like Walton Goggins on the role. I hope they do something else with Walton Goggins, but they gave him a shitty character, so what can they do,
You never know.
Do you even know who I'm talking about here? Because it occurs to me now, you probably don't know who Walton Goggins is.
Not really, but is he the one that was kind of tracking down Ant-Man and Wasp for the briefcase or whatever?
Yes.
All right.
He is a very, very good actor.
Yeah.
He is very, very good in Hateful Eight and the TV series Justified.
Yes, I've seen some episodes of Justified. My mom loves that show.
Yes. Timothy Olyphant. How has Timothy Olyphant not played anyone in the MCU yet?
Okay, now him, I don't know.
The main guy from Justified.
Okay.
He's also the Boba Fett impersonator from the second season of Mandalorian.
I've not seen Mandalorian yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, Timothy Olyphant is fantastic. He was one of the best parts of the fourth season of Fargo as well.
All right.
And I'm not watching along, but my parents are watching Santa Clarita Diet, which is you may have seen the bits advertising it like a couple of years ago. It's the movie where Drew Barrymore becomes kind of like a living zombie and can only eat human. Oh. And Timothy Olyphant is her put upon husband who has to try and help her and cover up the fact that she now has to eat people.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing advertisements for that.
Yeah, and the show kind of turns like into a very comedic Dexter, right? Because Dexter was always the thing of like the main character's a serial killer. So how does he get by, killing people who deserve it and so on? So it goes along those lines where Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant have to kill people that deserve it, right? To feed her.
Right.
But it's also a very dark comedy because Drew Barrymore is just like constantly eating people throughout the show. Yeah, I looked over at the TV screen one time. I just saw her like bite off half of Nathan Fillion's hand, and I was like, "Oh, that seems like an interesting show." You know what has shocked me?
What's that?
The fact that the MCU had that one like Easter egg where Nathan Fillion is like Wonder Man on a poster in the background of one of the movies, and they never actually did anything with having Nathan Fillion as Wonder Man.
That is strange.
Poor Nathan Fillion's one of those actors who, if he's involved with the project, it's guaranteed he'll get screwed. I don't know why, but that guy's just bad luck personified.
Poor guy.
Oh, man. Oh, anything else to say about Loki?
It's I don't know that I have anything really big to say about it. It's a show that it almost feels like it wasn't worth it to watch because the finale, it more or less resets everything. So the only things that's really changed is we're starting back at square one, but we have knowledge of what's going on, and so does Loki. So it's kind of what's going to go on in the next season. Is he going to have to retrace all his steps and do things differently? Are things completely different now? We don't know what has all happened. So, and the biggest thing I want to point out here is Ravonna. She may or may not be on the loose as well. So that's potentially two characters that know that the timeline may or may not have changed. Or I don't know. We really don't know what happens in the finale. We just know that some bad things happened and now everything got reset.
Ravonna is female Loki, correct?
No. Ravonna is Kang's wife in the 31st century.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with like doing a timeline reset like that is still like how you handle it. Because, like, how many fucking times does The Good Place reset its timeline, right?
Right.
But every time it's not a rehash, it winds up like when they do the time reset, it changes everything and everything goes down entirely differently.
Indeed.
And it winds up working out just fine in Good Place, anyways, because everyone gets their memory restored, anyways.
Right.
Which that's probably still one of my favorite gags in Good Place is just watching all the different times that Michael fucks up the Good Place. And the time where he finally recognizes the jig is up is when Jason's the one that figures it out.
Yeah, that's such a good scene.
It is. It is. Ted Danson, I was about to say Ted Danson carries some parts, but he doesn't. Everyone on that show is fantastic.
Absolutely.
But Ted Danson is so good in that show that he could have carried it if everyone else sucked, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
But Kristen Bell was also good enough that if everyone else sucked, she could have carried it. And the actor who played Chidi, whose name escapes me, was also so good that if everyone else sucked, he could have carried it. Tawny and Jason's actors couldn't have carried it, but it was just because they weren't given the kind of character that could carry it.
Right.
Anyways, carry on.
Carry on, Loki. Really enjoyed it. Excited for the future. Glad Tom Hiddleston is here to stay, hopefully. Can't wait to see where it takes us, to be quite honest.
All right.
Kind of a shock that it feels like we're going straight from Thanos, the World Conqueror, to Kang, the Conqueror. And that's a lot of timeline shenanigans going on right there. And
yeah, it could be argued they probably should have gone for more
at the moment.
Yeah, I was about to say it could have been argued they should have gone for more downtime, but I guess they're probably looking at COVID as the downtime.
Right. Very, very good point.
The real trouble is there's probably going to be a hot minute where we're juggling loads of big threats because we've got Kang coming on, but we've also got the Thunderbolts, and then the multiverse of madness. What the fuck are they going to do with that, right? Because
indeed.
Like the weakest villain we can hope for Multiverse of Madness is fucking Tentacle Boy from Marvel vs. Capcom, Shumagorath. Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
And like the craziest thing you could hope for from Doctor Strange is fucking Mephisto. So
yeah,
it would be neat if they set up Mephisto before Ghost Rider, wouldn't it?
This is true. Oh, that's kind of ruined though because Ghost Rider appears in their Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show.
Fuck Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Indeed.
Yo, what if shit.
Do not say what if the villain of Multiverse of Madness is Akuma.
No. What if this freaking this upcoming Spider-Man movie with all of the Spider-Man ends with fucking one more day because Mephisto's here now.
Oh no.
But
okay,
the Witcher remains.
I do not think it would be kosher if Tom Holland and Zendaya's versions of Peter and MJ start having a kid despite the fact they're still in high school. I do not think people would be cool with that. I think some people would actually be okay with Mephisto casting Fetus Deletus that time. One More Day is basically just a really lazy writer's attempt at doing an abortion.
Yes.
A literal abortion, not even like a metaphorical abortion, a literal abortion.
Yeah, no, they did a literal abortion in the pages of the comic so they can abort the actual comic itself.
Yes. There are few more cowardly events in comic book writing than One More Day. Mm-hmm. One More Day is we do not want to explore the new story directions we have opened up. We want to be huge cowards and keep things the way they've been for the last 70 fucking years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we need to stop saying lazy and start saying cowardly. It is intellectually cowardly I am too scared, and I want to stick with the same storylines I already know how to write.
Yeah.
Yeah. At some point, it would be better if Doc Ock would just take over being Spider-Man full time.
Well, the thing is, Doc Ock would at least put a fucking ring on it.
Yeah.
Because he's got some fucking balls.
He's no
What if we get yet another day or something like that where Doc Ock steals Mary Jane's hand in marriage?
Oh no, Doc Ock ain't going for Mary Jane. What was the name of the girl that? Because Doc Ock was in love with
the stepsister of the writer's daughter.
No. That was also Peter, sadly.
Yeah, I know.
Doc Ock when Doc Ock was Superior Spider-Man, he was in love with what's her name? The dwarf woman. Shit, it was something like her name was like something super Italian. But yeah, Doc Ock was in love with that dwarf woman, and it was I distinctly remember when Peter takes the body back over. Doc Ock, as he's leaving Peter's body, tells him, "Dude, go fucking save her from Norman. If you're going to do anything, go save her from Norman." Peter goes and saves her from Norman, and it's probably the coolest moment in all of Superior Spider-Man because you have that comic book panel that everyone now copies and pastes everywhere, right? The one where Norman says, Otto, you need to stop playing hero. It's unbecoming of you. There's no dignity in it. And Peter says, yeah, well, at least I have the dignity of not wearing a man purse. And Norman just very suddenly drops a smile, stares directly at Peter, and says, it's you. That is a great moment. But I also love what comes after where Peter saves the girl, and then she's like, oh, so you're not Otto anymore. All right, okay, bye. No, not even any awkwardness of like, oh, well, I like the previous personality in your head more. It's just straight up like, oh, I don't like Peter later.
Yeah.
Not my type. Bye.
Call me when you've got another 4 arms, asshole.
I can put up the Iron Spider suit if you want.
Please don't.
But which version? Because both of them suck, but one of them sucks less.
All right, Pink, did you do anything else this past week?
The only thing that I can recall doing this past week is I played a lot of Dead by Daylight. And by a lot, I mean like only 5 hours, so not really a lot, but a lot for me.
Yeah.
So that game's a lot of fun.
Okay.
You were going to say something, I think?
I was going to let you proceed before I said what I was going to say.
All right. So I've played a lot as a survivors, only a few rounds as a hunter or killer.
Yes.
I don't remember what they're called.
I do think it is important, even if you don't enjoy playing as the killer, to just play a couple rounds as the killer, just so you understand how it is from his perspective, right?
Yes, that's more or less what I was going for there.
Because
I just wanted to be on the other side, so I'm not having constant jump scares whenever generators go off or anything. I was like, hey.
You can still get jump scares as a killer.
Can you?
Oh, well, just sometimes survivors jump in at just the wrong time. It's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, but there's none of the anxious heartbeat sounds or anything like that, if I recall. I could be wrong, but I feel like the audio is a lot more laid back from the killer's perspective, which is fun.
Yes.
So I would play as a killer just to kind of warm myself up. Before I want to dive into, oh yeah, we've got the anxious heartbeat sounds, we've got generators exploding, you get the loud ass sound cues and somebody gets hooked or the doors are opening or whatnot. I was like, yeah, let me try out this killer first. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't really enjoy playing as a killer.
Really?
It's kind of boring to me, and I think it's just because I'm not very good. Because for me, it's spending 15 minutes wandering around looking for people and often not finding people. I'm not good at finding people. I'm not good at chasing people. And I don't know. The controls for me seem very slippery. Maybe I'll have to go in and adjust my settings for it. But I've had times where I've swung my knives or whatnot at survivors, or yeah, survivors. I think that's the right word. I've swung my knife and I thought I was gonna be spot on and it misses. And I've had times where I'm swinging my knife and then I swerve around a little bit and I'm like, oh no, I completely missed that. But then I'll end up downing them anyway. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, game. So
Yeah, hitboxes are a little funky visually speaking because every killer shares the same hitboxes regardless of weapons or animation.
Okay. So yeah, I don't find playing as a killer to be particularly pleasant. It's not my favorite thing in the world. I vastly prefer the survival side of it all, even though I almost always get wrecked. But yeah, it's a relief that the killer's actually able to find me though, because I literally had a round yesterday. I was playing as the basic trapper, and I found one person in the entire match. And then I spent the rest of the match just kind of wandering about the field, wondering where everyone was. And then the gates opened, then everyone left, and I was like, oh, well, that was a pleasant midnight stroll.
Yeah, I've had a game like that at some point as well. I've not been able to figure out like the finding aspect of killer like much of a strategy to it, other than just figure out where the generators are and just float between them, right?
Right.
From the chasing perspective, what you really want to do with chasing is know that the survivor is going to try and lead you through as much of a maze as possible. And the best thing to do is usually just ignore the maze, especially like most of like the basic maps are going to have like these very wide open spaces and then these high croppings of like tall fences with windows in them, right? And these little brick wall mazes and type things, right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The survivor will want to lead you into those. What I always do as killer is I just walk around them to the other side and wait for them to come out the other side.
I see your maze and I decline it.
Yeah, especially if I can walk around it in such a way that visually sends the message of I'm not going to chase you in there, buddy.
Maybe there are windows along the sides of the maze or something. It's like, yeah, peeking through.
The thing to always try and do as killer is just to try and predict where the survivor is going to go and then cut them off at the pass.
Aha.
Because unless they're like playing Meg or something and they use that speed boost thing, but that's different.
Right.
Speaking of which, who survivor?
You got cut off there. I heard who and survivor. I'm assuming you were saying favorite, and my default answer would have to be Steve because it's just freaking Steve and no other reason.
Oh, you got the Stranger Things pack.
I thought I mentioned that previously. Yes, I did. It was the Dead by Daylight was part of the Steam Summer Sale a couple weeks back.
Yes.
So it was. I don't remember what the cost was. I could probably go through all my receipts and whatnot. And when I was going to initially buy it, I was like, hey, let's see what the add-ons are and see if any of those are on sale. And they were. So it was fairly inexpensive to upgrade and get Dead by Daylight and the Stranger Things pack with it. So I was like, yeah, let's do that because it's Stranger Things. I like Stranger Things. And it's Steve. I can't say no to Steve. Plus, I get to play as Demogorgon now, which is fun. It's trippy, and I don't know how to play it properly, so that was fun.
Yeah, there are a good couple Dead by Daylight killers that when you mouse over their abilities, you just see a whole heap and load of things, and it's like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah.
It's like he put portals in the ground, but like multiple portals, and I don't know what to do to actually go through them.
And he's got like a special lunge or leap attack or something.
Yeah, he has to charge himself up, and then he'll do a big old leap, and it's good for closing distance, but there is a significant lag on it, so it's not great.
Yeah, it seems really weird as a character. But then, like, some of the times with the characters, you look at the abilities and it sounds super complex, but it's actually not really. Like Pyramid Head, if you mouse over Pyramid Head stuff, it's like, oh, Chains of torment, final judgment, the fucking reach of the barbed wire, or some bullshit like that. And it sounds like, oh my god, how many systems can they give one character? Then you play Pyramid Head, and it's like, you can hit people from a distance and put them in a cage, and that's pretty much it. All right. So, what would you say is your general experience with playing Survivor?
I really enjoyed it. There are a lot of aspects that I don't understand. Like, what the heck is a totem and why am I cleaning it?
So totems are a thing that will appear. So there are certain killer perks that make the totems active. And you can see if the totem isn't glowing, then it's a dull totem. And if it's active, then it's a real totem. Breaking dull totems you can just do for points, but that's really it. It's just kind of a diversion to waste time, which if you're playing a very cooperative game, you probably don't want to do that. If you're playing an active totem, breaking the totems can deactivate one of the killer's perks. There is one killer perk that is activated by breaking totems, but other than that, I think they're pretty much all deactivated by breaking totems. And there are a couple totem perks that are really strong. I want to say one of them is called No One Escapes Death, which makes it where once the doors are open or something like that, the totems activate, all totems activate, and make it where the killer kills in one hit.
Oh.
Yeah. Other than that, I can't remember any particular totem ones. I think like the Wraith has a shitload of totem perks because I definitely remember totems were introduced alongside the Wraith, or not the Wraith, not the Wraith. Fuck. Swamp Cannibal Woman, help me. Hag. Swamp Cannibal Grandma. There we go.
Yes.
All right. Anything else to say about it?
Anything else? Not really. I had some fun games. I had a game where actually I just want to mention this real quick and then move on. I had a game yesterday where everybody got hooked or was dead, and I jumped in it, and it was rad. I was very excited when it happened. The end.
All right. I think I'm losing connection.
Maybe.
I hope not.
I mean, if you're
losing connection,
yeah, I was about to say like if you're losing connection, then it seems like everyone is because things seem to be going wrong, and I can't tell why.
Oh,
that's not good.
Oh, I was just hearing Pink fuck up, and I was hearing silence. I thought that meant I was losing a connection. Is Pink's internet going out?
Not that I'm aware of. I've been able to hear you guys just fine, but there have been like silent spots where I've been wondering: am I gonna interrupt somebody if I talk? Is somebody talking and I can't hear them? What's going on?
Okay, no, then it was just silence.
Like now. Okay, silence.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely heard like Pink's voice going like, and then everyone went on a hook and then died, and I jumped in.
Slow motion.
Yeah. No, I assume there was something going on there.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, that was probably on your end because I was not talking in slow motion.
No, I think it might have been on both of your ends because I didn't hear you talking in slow motion, but you did robot out of existence for like the middle of the sentence. So.
Oh, yeah. I guess maybe my internet died as well.
Weird. Okay.
The sharks are doing their job. Did y'all hear about that?
The sharks have been eating the internet, right?
Yes. Sharks now?
Yeah, the sharks have been eating the internet.
Well, I mean, they'll eat anything, so that's to be expected.
But internet cables don't look like seals.
Well, neither do trash cans or tires, and they'll eat those anyway.
True. Sometimes God just wants an animal dead, though.
Sharks have been around for too long.
I was thinking of the bit from Fairly Odd Parents. Those sharks have had it too good for too long.
But yeah, so Pink, anything else?
No, that was it. That's all I've done this week.
All right. Then I suppose it's my turn.
Yes. Go.
So, I played a bit of Smite. And
ooh, since they removed the boots.
Yes, I was about to say queue up the crab rave because shoes are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody be going barefoot. Weird.
Yes. The foot fetishists rejoice.
Wait, does Ratatoskr retain his acorn now, or is that gone?
He does have his acorns, but they have been nerfed.
Why have they been nerfed?
Well, the movement speed
more powerful.
The movement speed has been nerfed, at least. That's what I remember.
Well, I'm fine with nerfing the movement speed as long as they leave like one option to act like a katana option. But I feel like if boots have been removed, boots were cheap, but well, they were fairly inexpensive, and they provided a modest buff to characters. But with those gone, and now people building actual items straight from the get-go, I feel like his acorns should actually be buffed, unless they are as inexpensive as shoes used to be.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's a sticky situation that I want no part of.
Yeah, but so basically what has removing boots changed is that warriors can die now, and hunters cry a lot.
Well, hunters always cry until at least the 20-minute mark.
But yeah, but hunters cry more.
They deserve it. Filthy hunters.
I have played games as Fafnir and Danny because people don't let me choose any other classes. And
that's weird that people don't rush for like Hunter. Hunter is one role that I'd expect people to rush for.
People don't rush Hunter anymore because Hunter actually has to like think somewhat about their builds now because shoes have been removed. So you can just buy Ninja Tabby for the attack speed.
Oh, now you just have to buy these 30 other attack speed items.
I mean, most of the other attack speed items are kind of shit though. Like there's two bows that are good or okay. There's like the tree that ASI is in or whatever SC. I don't fucking know. Or that tree is good for the most part. What else is good that hunters can actually buy for attack speed items? Because you have to remember, a lot of attack speed items are actually locked out from hunters because, God forbid, they get haste and katana. Holy shit! The reason haste and katana exists is so hunters can't buy it. Genuinely.
I mean, I think it's fair that some items be blocked to certain classes, but it is strange to have. Is it strange to have that attack speed? I don't think it makes sense to have an attack speed item that's like exclusive for what, warriors and assassins?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. There are some attack speed assassins. They're a bit unusual, but they do exist.
Yeah, Boxer and Arachne are two that almost always you get Hasten Katana on because they're very.
Not Pele. Who am I mixing Corvette?
No, Pele's a good one. It's decent.
Pele, you want attack speed and lifesteal usually.
Yep.
But yeah, so basically, I had to retrofit my old Danny build that I made before we stopped playing Smite again. So it doesn't use freaking boots anymore because, with the setup it hinged on the attack speed that Ninja Tabi gave, and I replaced it with fucking Oboe because whatever, I couldn't find anything better.
That's just straight up attack speed now.
Yeah. I mean, before, because I usually get the a starter item that makes it so when I'm next to my teammates, I shoot faster, and then when I'm not, I walk faster. That's an item that hunters can get, I guess. but I usually get that, and before now, it used to be that I had like 2.44 attack speed when I wasn't next to teammates, and then had the fully at 2.5 when I was. Now it's just 2.5 attack speed, and I also get to hit people multiple times because Odysseus bow sucks ass. It genuinely is. It genuinely isn't a good item, but I haven't found anything better. at least it's not Wind Demon. It's not crit.
Poison Shuriken is always the way to go. Wind Demon isn't overrated.
Wind Demon is good if you want to build crit, but yeah, like that's a big if. And then Fafnir doesn't give a fuck. Like
He never did.
Yeah, there were games. Even before now, there were games where I just didn't buy shoes because who cares? I'm a dragon.
That's quite a choice for going shoes.
Yeah.
I choose not to secure kills today. That's someone else's job.
I mean, I'm a tank. If I'm the one with the most kills, then the team is probably fucking up.
Well, you should know better than anyone from playing fucking Sylvanas that there's no such thing as a pure tank in Smite.
Well, true. I remember I had this game recently with a Hachiman who had like 8 left on Hachiman, and I secured the first 4 kills by playing Uller like he was Fafnir, or the other way around, playing Fafnir like he was Uller. Yes. It was really funny because we basically had 2 hunters, but one of them couldn't die. And I mean, after that, people actually like built shit, and I had to actually play like a tank so that my teammates wouldn't die as much. But it was funny.
I will say there's probably a lot of rebalancing they have to do to deal with the lack of boots now. But I do respect the decision of saying, okay, well, it's kind of silly that boots are just a mandatory choice. We're just going to get rid of it so that now people have to actually choose a 6th item to build.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm missing is the movement speed that the shit gave, because you walk really fucking slow. And like, yeah,
I imagine so.
And like, yeah, they do make it so you get like a 5% movement speed boost on freaking or at level 7, and then you get like another 10% at freaking like level 18 or something like that. At the same time, boots used to give you 25%. So
yeah.
Me personally, I actually love the change of removing boots. I like to have my options completely open instead of, okay, step 1, acquire boots. Step 2, figure out the rest from there.
Yeah.
I like
Step
having
1.
the freedom to just do whatever the heck I feel like at the moment.
Yes. I would say that, like, generally speaking, video games should strive towards not having obligatory meta choices, right?
Yeah.
Total War has the same problem with some of their games. And, of course, Overwatch is the big example for that as well, for modern day.
They don't just have a meta item. They have meta lineups. You need, well, depending on which meta, it's always, you need a Reinhardt and you need a Lucio. After that, do what you want.
Yeah, Smite would be different if everybody had to pick fucking, I don't know, Kabrakan and Athena. All right. Did you do anything else, Addy?
yes. Oh, think.
No, I was just shouting because there was silence on my end.
Okay.
Maybe my internet died.
So yeah, I played Smite. I also did a full complete playthrough, 100%ing Spider-Man PS4 on recording. Just getting ready for the time when we record it with Pink.
Nice. Are we speedrunning that too?
No.
Oh, good.
I'm not speedrunning anything ever again. I'm retiring for speedrunning.
We already have a
No.
world record. We retire.
No, I'm not retiring for speedrunning, but what the next one I'm gonna be doing is gonna be freaking Wetlands 70% in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. So yeah. Spider-Man PS4 is a game. What can I say?
You make it sound like you don't like it anymore.
No, I'm pretty sure I just started like speaking about any game I finished by saying that in the past like 2 years, just because I need to figure out where to actually start talking about the game.
It just sounds like you're damning it with faint praise, right?
Yeah. So, can I talk spoilers?
Go ahead. I've had every major moment of that game spoiled for me by now.
Think how do you feel about spoilers?
I said sure. I don't mind.
All right. So, I don't know how I feel about the setup that they did with the ending, like the post credits scene. I don't know how I feel about it, because the post credits.
Oh, I've not heard about this.
Okay. So long story short, I actually will withhold some information, so it's not that spoilery. But long story short, Venom symbiote something character who is not Eddie Brock. And that's basically the summary of my issues. Like, I don't
think he's ready to break the Venom symbiote. That makes no sense.
Like, so character who is already pretty well established overall as a villain throughout the game and just overall in Spider-Man lore is the person who came up with the Venom symbiote. It may not be an alien. I don't know. They haven't really like it literally just shows up in the post-credits scene and it's just there. So yeah, but character who is well established may have made the Venom symbiote for reasons. Venom symbiote is in a vet, and then we know that it lives. And it's attached to a character who is not the same character as the first one, but is related. And that character is not Eddie Brock. And
Eddie's wife?
No. Eddie's kid.
No, but that would be way cooler.
I don't even think that Eddie Brock is in the game at all. Like, it even mentioned at all. But like my issue really with this whole setup that they have is that both the character that the Venom symbiote is attached to already has an established character in Spider-Man that is very much not Venom, and I would like for Venom to actually be Venom.
Is it Gwen Stacy?
No.
Aunt May?
No, but no. I nearly said a bad thing, but yeah.
Ben Urich.
Who?
Daredevil.
No.
Luke Cage.
No, they didn't go that far into the MCU. The only actual or whatever not the MCU, but the Marvel Extended Universe. The Mew. I guess I don't know.
The Mew.
Yeah.
Aunt May's dog.
I don't think she has a dog in the game.
Yeah, because it's Venom.
Yeah. Where was I going? Like it like, I guess they are kind of doing an Eddie Brock thing with this character too, because it is a friend of Peter's, but it's not Eddie Brock. It's a character who already has a character.
Harry?
Maybe. Yes.
I thought Harry didn't show up in person in that game.
He doesn't show up in person because the post-credits scene is fucking. I forgot about Norman Osborn's name for a second, so I was going to call him Willem Dafoe. But Norman opens up a vet because Harry has some life-threatening sickness in the game, and that's why he's not actually present. because he's in a vet in a secret room in Norman's house. And for whatever reason, Norman came up with the Venom symbiote somehow, and it's attached to Harry.
Okay, I see.
It sounds like they're kind of splicing the Amazing Spider-Man and the Ultimate Spider-Man Venom symbiote. Because Amazing Spider-Man is the one where all the Osborns more or less have some sort of disease that kills them inevitably. Yeah, I say inevitably like anyone's going to live forever, but faster than normal, I should say. And the Ultimate symbiote was designed as a cure for cancer, so it seems like that's kind of the ordeal that's going on here.
Yeah, I did prefer like the Amazing Spider-Man thing where at least at first Harry was the first Goblin and Norman was just a douchebag.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
don't get me wrong, I love Norman as Goblin, but it was just a cute twist to see Norman not be a super douchebag. He's just a regular, real-world corporate douchebag, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something that I dislike about this game, how they ramped up that thing with Norman, because I like Norman being just a corporate asshole, but he's the mayor of New York.
Well, that's pretty well like kind of them combining the storyline where Norman became the leader of Hammer with the storyline DC did where Lex Luthor became president, because both of them were attempts at taking shot at George W. Bush Jr., but they came around the same time, and it's kind of easy to conflate the two. Which it is where both those storylines are rather important, but like DC didn't really make a storyline to try and take a shot at Trump, and when Marvel tried to do it, they did that weird like Red Skull is ripping off Ben Shapiro thing, which just kind of went nowhere.
Yeah.
Red Skull doesn't do anything nowadays other than just pop up, cause a neo-Nazi group to appear, and then just someone else shuts him down immediately. Yeah. Red Skull's in this weird place where they want him to be a big threatening villain because he's a Nazi, but at the same time, they always just consistently make him kind of lame.
Right.
I mean, why use Red Skull when we have Captain Hydra?
Oh God.
I still I think like Captain Hydra is a bad storyline overall. Like regardless of anything, the freaking Captain Hydra storyline is a storyline that I will forever hate just because it ruined the one good run Deadpool has had in the past 10 years.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, Captain Hydra, like the idea of an alternate universe evil Nazi Captain America, I'm fine with because that's comic book silliness. It's the fact that he also wound up making Deadpool and Punisher unironically supporting Nazism, which is where I'm like, okay, this is too fucking stupid.
Yep.
The idea that Deadpool and Punisher are such fucking cows that they'll just follow Steve into hell is ridiculous, you know?
Yep.
Like, they've established that both of those two adore Steve and look up to him, but neither of them are just idiots, you know?
Yep.
I don't know. For Deadpool, I could imagine him being an idiot, but I don't like. My issue was how they pulled it off. Like not even just the thing of Deadpool is a big fucking dumbass, and he doesn't actually see that Steve is being a Nazi. It's that he then goes and murders everyone that he loves because Steve asked him to.
He kills Coulson, doesn't he?
Yes.
Again?
Yeah.
Yes, again, and then he also murders his children or something like that.
He doesn't kill his children, but I know he kills the other SHIELD agent, the woman who was a cyborg.
Yeah.
Who was like his best friend.
Yes. Yeah, I think I dropped the Deadpool comics like 2 issues after that. No.
And wasn't that like only like a year or two after that really good comic where Wade thought that his daughter had been murdered by like that anti-mutant hate group, and like he goes to the town to find like that horrible mass grave with Tony and Steve, and there's just that heartbreaking panel of him sobbing in the middle of the grave while Steve and Tony look on?
I don't know. Think?
I don't know. I don't read modern comics.
All right.
That's fair. Modern comics is very much just the occasional good moment intermixed with lots of shitty storylines of the publishers being like, hey, I know you're doing something with your storyline, but hey, guess what? It's time for the monthly big crossover event where we're going to fuck over all of your storylines.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're writing a Deadpool redemption arc? We need someone to sell themselves out to the Nazis. What do you mean Batman is actually getting married? Put a stop to that shit.
The best part of the Deadpool getting ruined is, if I remember correctly, there were only 3 more issues because people stopped buying. Good fucking riddance.
Fuck. Cowardice.
Yes.
Okay, I haven't been paying attention to the comics for like the last 2 years because even I've got kind of sick of it. But I really hope Tom King kept up on his thing where after they wouldn't let him get Batman to marry Catwoman, he then had Batman get Catwoman pregnant anyways, just as a like, fuck you, they're sticking together. I hope they kept that up. I hope that DC wasn't like, we need the devil to come in for a magic abortion.
One more day. One more night. With a K.
Yeah, I was about to make that same joke. With a K.
Yeah. So Spider-Man PS4 is not too bad. I mean, I freaking started another playthrough on the hardest difficulty because I was like, yeah, I have all of this footage. I might as well use it for a review. But if I'm doing a review, I might as well show off all of the suits, most of which suck.
Well, when you try to get every suit, you're going to get some that aren't bangers.
I would say that most of them aren't bangers. Like even the ones I like, there's something about them that where I'm like, no, like. They have the 2099 suit, and I like the 2099 suit just because it had the freaking the spider is like the Punisher emblem, and that's genuinely the only reason I like the fucking 2099 suit. But
the 2099 suit's got good coloring.
I love the 2099 suit.
I don't like the blue as much, but like I'm fine with it. Like there's good design elements to it, yeah.
Here's what I really respect about the 2099 suit: it has web wings.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like,
can you?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't remember in Spider-Man 2019. Could you give Spider-Man web wings?
No, because they're cowards. You can.
They should have made that like a thing where you could use it to glide. That would have been cool.
They do reference it because one of the if you remember. You can get like the backpack items that are just references to old comics and shit like that, and one of them is the web wings. And Peter does say, "Oh yeah, I remember these. I tried to use them to glide, but they didn't work." Motherfucker, give me the option to have them under my armpits. They look cool. I don't care if it works.
And like, it's not like that game would suffer for having more movement options, you know?
Yeah.
Which, what game was it? Was it Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 where Spider-Man could give himself a buff that gave him the web wings?
I wouldn't know that, Pink.
Or was it Marvel Heroes?
Probably Marvel Heroes, because I don't think he could glide in Ultimate Alliance.
I don't think they allowed you to glide. I think it was just a buff, and the visual effect was it gave Spider-Man the web wings.
Oh, then that would have been Marvel Heroes then, because I don't recall any visual buffs.
I could have sworn like he could do it.
Spider Sense, and then he could. There was a buff that he webbed up, more or less, to give your teammates and himself extra protection. So there was no actual web wing buff. So that would have been Marvel Heroes.
Oh, well, Marvel Heroes was cool.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Tragic end.
But yeah. So what I was trying to say is that like I like the 2099 suit usually, but they gave it this metallic effect in the game, if I remember correctly, and I just hate it. I don't know why, but it looks bad to me.
Yeah, whenever you suggest something like that, I'm thinking like, oh, that's gonna look Unreal Engine as fuck.
Yeah, and sometimes I guess it can work because we do have armor, spider armor for some fucking reason, so I guess use it on that. But the the 2099 suit doesn't need it, and
I mean,
yeah.
Giving a metallic look to the Iron Spider suit almost makes it work. Honestly,
No, the Iron Spider look. Yeah, no. I don't agree, but then I just don't like the design of the Iron Spider suit in the game, or the other one, but then this one even more.
Heh.
Like the normal Iron Spider suit looks hideous, but at least it looks like it looks like Tony tried to make an iron freaking Spider-Man suit in like 15 minutes. But at least it looks like that. The Iron Spider suit in the game just looks horrible, like regardless of who made it.
I don't remember the Iron Spider suit in the game having a different design.
I think it's the one from the movie with the freaking like the embossed like webbing and shit on it, and it just looks bad.
Oh, I like the Iron Spider suit from the movies.
I don't. I think it looks horrible.
I guess agree to disagree.
Let me post a picture if I can find one for Pink. Yeah, like this to me doesn't just looks bad. Fucking hell. Why won't you post? There you go.
Aha.
Like I don't.
I guess that is the movie suit.
Yeah, and like the other suit looks bad too. I won't claim either of these suits look good, but this one to me it feels over designed. Like there's too much going on and it just doesn't look good together.
I think the gauntlets are unnecessary, but other than that, I quite like that suit, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, here's the
I'm not
thing.
sure how I feel about the gauntlets, because I don't know if they're too extra or if I like them. I'll be honest. I'm kind of conflicted, but I do like the suit on a whole, and it reminds me of the Ben Reilly suit, which I quite liked.
Okay, so I want to go ahead and say this. I want to pitch this and see if you guys agree with me. The only spider suit that's better than the classic red and blue, like not the original Ditko red and black. I'm actually not a big fan of Ditko red and black. It's not terrible, but the red and blue is better. The only suit that Spider-Man has ever had that was better than the red and blue is Future Foundation white and black.
Oh, I need to look at
it.
I need to look at it. Give me a sec.
What'd you say, Pink?
I really like that suit as well. I don't think I like it better than the classic red and black. Pardon me, red and blue. But I think it's a very strong suit nonetheless.
I don't mind it, but I don't like it better than the classic.
Yeah, I mean it's a tight competition for me. I just like I like it, you know?
Yeah.
I think for me the thing is that I like the symbiote Anti-Venom, and it just reminds me of Anti-Venom too much, and like Anti-Venom sucked. Like I really like the design, but the Anti-Venom sucked.
Anti-Venom sucked from a writing perspective, but yeah, it was kind of a cool design.
But yeah, so give me a sec. I'm looking up pictures so you can see the things I'm talking about. So yeah, so because I genuinely don't like most of the suits in the game, aside from like the classic suit, and like I don't know, like maybe two others. I'm just like, okay, what's the closest thing to the classic suit that I can get that I just won't get tired of as easily or whatever. Like, you know, what's something that's a little bit different, but it's still mostly just classic Spider-Man. And I was just like, you know what? Fuck it, West.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I love Spider-Punk.
Yeah, Spider-Punk is. I would say Spider-Punk is probably my favorite suit in the game, just because I even have problems with how the classic suit is in the game, just because I think it's too washed out.
I think.
Yeah.
I think the mohawk is a bit much, but there's something I just goofily love about wearing a denim jacket over a super suit.
Yeah.
I like the mohawk because like I like the cute freaking spikies making the mohawk because it's stupid. Like like if Peter lands on his head, the mohawk, the freaking the spikes will impale him.
No, they'll just impale the floor and he'll get stuck.
Well, no, like I feel like with how they would have to be attached to the mask, they would like freaking concuss him or something from the impact.
Yeah, that'd probably be annoying.
But like,
admittedly, Spider-Man is Spider-Man.
Yeah. But like, you know, it's like I feel like Spider-Punk is basically like taking some of the elements of their own design, or the new Spider-Man suit designs elements, and just using it better. Because like this has white, this has more blue than red for the most part, and then it works for me. The original Spider-Man suit or whatever, the new Spider-Man suit that they made for this game doesn't work for me because there's too much white and too much blue, and it just doesn't work. Like it's too segmented and shit. Let me get a thing for that.
The only thing I really don't like about the Spider-Punk suit is that his torso is blue and his pants are blue, so it makes him look like he's wearing a big onesie with a belt. And you don't wear belts with onesies.
Yeah, the belt separates it a little bit, but it is noticeable when you look at him from the front. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. But yeah, Pink. Here's the normal. All right, that won't work. No, will it? It will
work.
Okay.
I really like that, honestly.
I don't, but like most of my issues are in the back. Well, no, most of my issues are all over really because I just don't like the white spider design and the freaking the gloves being white and shit like that. Like it's too much for me.
I like the white accents. I'm not completely sold on the emblem, and I think that has more to do with the fact that on his torso there, it goes from the white leg to a little bit of red from the carryover, the initial design. Then you get the blue. Then you get the white of the other leg, and that part there in his center just kind of looks like a colorful mess to me. And the fact that his torso design comes down to the belt, and then it gets cut off, and the belt happens, and then it keeps going. That could have all been fused into one, and if they had connected those 2 or even 4 legs together to make it be a perfect rundown to where it looks more similar to his classic red and blue. I think that would have looked better, but overall I think this is a fine design.
You know, Pink, I've made much simpler observations about costumes and been very proud of myself, and it's moments like these where I realize how out of my league I am in terms of the art design department.
Yeah, like I said, it's too segmented, and like the thing that you can see is that there's a seam between his shoulders too.
You can see that.
Can you?
Well, yeah.
Kind of, yeah. Like, I don't like the sneaker design without the actual sneakers, I guess, because I'm fine with Spider-Punk having sneakers, but I guess that's just because he's actually just wearing fucking sneakers instead of it being a part of the suit. But I don't like the infused sneakers into the suit, or just like, I guess part of the issue is that I just don't like the big colorful sneakers that people wear nowadays. Like overall,
how dare people be flashy?
It's not the flashy. It just looks gaudy to me, I guess. I don't know why I dislike it, but I just don't like the big neon freaking shoes that are like, hey, like the front part is neon pink, the middle part is neon blue, and no, the neon green, and then the freaking the tongue of the shoe, that's neon blue, and then there's like neon orange accents in some places, but not in others, and it makes no sense.
Aha.
Like I don't like that those things, and the way this suit is designed seems like a more normal version of that, like something that fits together a bit better. But I just don't know about it.
See, I like the shoes or the shoe type look it has, because it makes it look so he's not running around in giant socks.
Yes.
It looks like his feet are more protected that way, so it looks rational that he would be able to run around in that.
I'm fine
so
with
I honestly don't have any problem with the shoes.
I'm fine with the giant socks look. He's in his jammies.
He's in his jammies, yeah.
But yeah. So what I expect that like 80% of the Spider-Man PS4 playthrough that we will record eventually will be Pink and I just arguing about the costumes. Is what I'm trying to say.
When in actuality, you should
for a couple hours.
When in actuality, you should both admit the superiority of that one costume where Spider-Man's super fucking ripped and has a skull for a head.
That one fucking sucks. Holy shit.
Yeah. Every time I see it, I'm like, what the fuck did this come from? Like, Spider-Man, I know Spider-Man stole Ghost Rider's bike once, but I don't think Spider-Man's ever actually been Ghost Rider.
Pink, here's the suit for reference. So we talked about Antivenom. Here's shittier Antivenom. Just straight up.
Here's Anti-Rider.
Yes.
Where the fuck is that costume from?
Pink, you know comics. Why?
I don't know what this is. What in the world? Is that legit?
Yes, that's in the game, Pink. That is in the game.
I'm confused.
You can play as this in Spider-Man PS4.
The really great thing is there are a few cutscenes where Mary Jane swoons over Spider-Man while he's in the costume, and those cutscenes still include your costume. So you have Mary Jane swooning over fucking flaming skull freak alien man.
This costume is just an anatomy lesson, but with a spider emblem on it.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
And
featuring like the most important part of the human body, the flaming head.
Yes. Everyone has one. But we all know that the best suit in the game is the Kamen Rider suit.
Okay, show it. I
like this suit. I like this suit. Like I
dig it.
Like, I don't know how much Pink would like it because it's cel shaded in the game, but yeah,
it's not appropriate for Spider-Man. But like, if Marvel ever decides to introduce a Japanese hero who isn't Silver Samurai or Sunfire, that would be a good costume for him.
Yeah, that's a good costume.
Yeah, I like this costume. The only thing I don't like is the big blue spike on the front of the head, but it can work.
Yeah,
it does make him look like kind of Spider Unicorn.
Yeah. Like you take that one spike off, and it's perfect. That's the way it is. And the best part is, this was a DLC costume this was in the last DLC for the game, so you can, and it was free DLC, so you can boot the game up and then play as this immediately.
Very nice.
But yeah. So that's Spider-Man PS4, I guess, because I don't remember what else I was going to bring up. Oh, I know.
Okay.
There's one last thing. The one small design aspect. So, I didn't read. I guess I may not have read enough Spider-Man comics because I couldn't really. But the small design element of Spider-Punk are the pins that he has on the jacket. And he has an anarchy pin on his jacket, and I don't know about you, but Peter Parker doesn't strike me as the anarchist type.
The Ditko days. I don't think that Ayn Rand was a big anarchist. Well, she was kind of almost an anarchist, an anarcho-capitalist. But it's still canon that Peter did have his days where he was like super into objectivism. He's just ashamed of them now.
Ah,
right.
Yeah, like Peter now will still talk about in the comics, like, oh man, I used to be a jackass when I was a teenager.
In fairness, we all were.
Yeah.
I still am.
Some more than others.
But yeah, like that was one part that I didn't understand because like my first thing with Spider-Man, my first introduction to Spider-Man was the 90s series. So that's kind of just the way Peter is stuck for me.
Yeah. So Peter is forever stuck at good old what was it? Shocker, you'll never run away. I'll chase you to the ends of the earth.
Shocker, you son of a bitch. I'll chase you to the end of the earth.
Shit, what else does he say? I know he says, I'll chase you to the ends of the earth. Something like that. What else does he say?
He does say, Shocker, you son of a. That's what starts it off, I think.
Yeah, and Shocker's just running away like an asshole through the entire clip.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Peter's not stuck at Shocker for me. Peter's stuck at the freaking the clone arc.
Oh yes,
Spider. Sorry, I nearly said the name of a good character instead of a bad one.
yeah.
Because I nearly called him Spider's Man, and no. I mean, I wouldn't mind if in Spider-Man 2 on PS5 they introduced Spider's Man somehow.
I think that with them having already introduced Miles as his own Spider-Man, there is no reason to touch Spider-Verse.
Not really, no, but it would be funny. Like, just introduce 13 other people that were bitten by Oscorp spiders, because that's not a canon reason why both I don't know about Peter, but Miles definitely got his power from an Oscorp spider. So just like make it so all of the spiders of Oscorp got out, and then they beat a shit ton of people, and then they just they get together as a hive mind and form Spiders Man.
The trouble is that when you do a storyline like that, that's just inviting fucking Morloon.
Yeah.
And I want Morloon to go away and stay away forever. Oh, God.
So yeah, that's Spider-Man PS4, I think. Then,
all right.
Then we recorded Persona with Pink.
Persona 5. How far did you get?
We're still well, where were we exactly? We're still
any other game. It would be any other game. 20 hours, you beat the game.
Yeah.
Persona 5, 20 hours. We're still in the first dungeon.
Yeah, like we've just been past the first like time you go into Kamoshida's palace, but we did like it's not the first time that you actually get to go there properly. It's just the first time that Morgana takes you there, so you can explain how all architects and shit like that work.
Remind me, is Kamoshida the gym teacher or
Mr. Chin? Yes.
Ah, yes. So, Pink, you have not really seen the game itself. You've just been watching a lot of cutscenes, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how's it feel to be introduced to Persona? And your introduction to Persona is, look at this huge fucking rapey gym teacher.
I am so confused.
Yeah.
I tried to explain some things to Pink, but I don't know how much I should explain, because a lot of the game is like a lot of going through the game story is just the game explaining what's actually going on. So I don't know what's spoilers and what's not.
That is a game where you get time to parse through everything, because that is a game that the whole story takes a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Persona games are long, and Persona 5 is the longest. Like Persona 3 and Persona 4, I think both take like between 80 and 100 hours, depending on how well you do in the dungeons. Persona 5 is like 120.
Yeah, something like that.
Which I've said my piece before, that Persona 5 plot-wise kind of shakes out as my least favorite of the series. It's got the best gameplay. It's got the best UI. It's probably got the best art design. It's just the story didn't like hit me, you know?
Yeah.
And Persona 3's story is generally pretty good, but has some strong weakness. Like Persona 5's worst bits are not as bad as Persona 3's worst bits. Like Persona 5 does not have the same low lows that Persona 3 does. I'd say Persona 3 has higher highs and lower lows. Is how I would say the difference is. Persona 4, I would say overall the story is just the best. It doesn't have as bad spots, and it has better good spots. To me, personally.
I can't comment because I refuse to watch Persona shit, because I plan on playing them eventually. The main thing keeping me from playing Persona 3 is that I don't own a PS3. And that just sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, or PS2.
But I'm not buying a freaking copy of those prices, dude.
That's true. Well, let me tell you the real stupid thing is that the best way to play Persona 3 is to have a PSP.
I know.
Or a PS Vita. Yeah. Did you say PSP or PS3?
PS3. because
Oh, I heard PS3.
no PS3 because if it like even if I had a PSP, I'm pretty sure I couldn't buy the game anymore for it, or for a PS Vita even because I'm pretty sure those things got shut off like recently, at least the PSP.
Was PlayStation was Persona 3 Portable not a physical game? I thought it was a physical game.
I don't know, but like the issue with shit like that is that like Persona was a niche franchise, and like even big franchises sometimes didn't get proper physical releases over here because I'm in the middle of fucking Europe, and nobody gives a fuck about the middle of Europe. So
yeah,
unless it's like FIFA or like I don't know, like COD, then there's a chance that it may not have been sold at all.
Yeah, especially like the further you go back in history. Yeah, I forgot about that. But like Persona 3 on PS2, like it would have better graphical capability and so on, and you'd have the little epilogue campaign. But like I could not imagine going back and playing a Persona game where the AI controls itself, where like the party members are AI controlled. That just sounds like a fucking nightmare.
I mean, it probably would be, but I could live with it because I'm not the biggest fan of traditional RPGs anyway. So like so some slight thing that maybe makes them worse that wouldn't affect me as much, maybe.
Well, the trouble is that Persona 3, the lowest difficulty, like the original Persona 3 and Persona 3 FES, the lowest difficulty available is still normal difficulty.
Oh well.
Yeah.
At least it's not fucking. Well, I was going to say Devil Summoner, but that's not the one. Digital Devil Saga maybe. Is that the one I'm thinking of? Which one's the one with the fucking Demi Fiend?
Oh, Nocturne. I have Nocturne.
Yes, at least it's not Nocturne.
Nocturne is a delightful game that I love. I have never made it past probably like the 5% mark in that game.
Yeah. I just remember that one of the from watching a lot of Nocturne videos, I remember that there's a boss at like the 75% mark of the game where his AI can just decide, hey, you're not going to play the game this round, and then he just stun locks you with Megidola on and something else that makes it so you skip your turn.
Yep.
And yeah, like I've got to assume it's not worse than that, maybe.
I mean, to be fair, in Nocturne, like it is a lot of like Nocturne like gets crazier with the stuff you can do as well.
Yeah.
And you don't have to deal with Persona time limits either, so you can just be like, okay, well then I'm going to go and specifically get the best demons before I deal with that. But yeah, the Nocturne, I think the biggest moment that will like Nocturne's pretty rough to begin with, but the definitive moment that you hit in Nocturne that immediately tells you this is not like other RPGs is the fucking Matador, who has a debuff called, like, it's something like, I don't know, the Red Curtain or something like that, because he's a Matador, right?
Yeah.
And if he throws that on, no, it's a buff for himself, and it's an evasion buff. And in most RPGs, buffs and debuffs suck, right? There's no reason to throw them out when you can just hurt somebody.
Yes, but this is Shin Megami Tensei, and buffs are actually the game.
Yeah, so the Matador throws that evasion buff on himself, and his evasion goes up by like 95%, I want to say. So, like, the only way to fight that boss, he will just fuck you if you do not, like, either have a party member who is solely devoted to slapping the rest of the party with, like, accuracy buffs, or specifically grinding to get a certain power on the player character that reverses it. And it's a niche thing. Shin Megami Tensei 3 is one of the games that I've most enjoyed that I very much would not recommend someone else play. I enjoyed playing it. I want to go back and actually give it like a serious college try now that I'm an adult and I understand video games better. But goddamn, if someone said to me, "I'm gonna play Shin Megami Tensei 3," my answer would be, "No, you don't."
That's the same. That's the same with, with the first two Personas, from what I hear. But well, from what I hear for Persona 2, I have played Persona 1. I own Persona 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, but Persona 1 and 2, from what I hear, have the best stories in the series. At the same time, don't fucking play them. Watch a playthrough.
A Persona 1 story isn't very good.
Yeah, that's what I gathered, because I have watched through Persona 1 before.
Persona 2, it's a very different story from what you're used to with 3, 4, and 5 and 2. Because my understanding is, like, I've not played through 2. I've watched. I've not watched. I've read the plot summaries. 2 is just like, forget all that day and night nonsense. It's just straight up, the world is fucking over. Let's go kill some Nazis.
Ah.
I don't think
Mecha Hitler featuring not be from the Devil May Cry series. I see.
I don't think any of us have mentioned that Pink yet, have we?
What the actual Shin Megami Tensei plot? No.
So the first 2 Persona games and overall the Persona series in general, the kind of overarching true villain is the H.P. Lovecraft character Nyarlathotep, who is in the public domain like all other H.P. Lovecraft characters. And in Persona 2, Nyarlathotep makes it where all rumors become truth. And so there becomes a conflict in Persona 2 of the player characters and Nyarlathotep trying to spread opposite rumors to help and hurt each other. And Nyarlathotep spreads the rumor that Hitler and most of the Nazis did not die. They ran off to a secret base in Antarctica to gather their strength and work on the secret fucking technology of the SS or something like that. And in Persona 2, the Nazis come from Antarctica and fucking invade Japan. And the final boss of Persona 2 is Adolf Hitler wielding the fucking Spear of Destiny, the Lance of Longinus, the lance that pierced the side of Christ on the cross. And his persona is the fucking Lovecraftian god of deceit and chaos, Nyarlathotep.
That's incredible.
I know. Every time I'm like, that game sounds worth it just to play through for that fucking final boss. That's the craziest final boss I've ever heard of in my life. Like, just, there is so much there. Like, holy shit, you know?
Yeah.
No kidding.
So Pig, that's what you can look forward to in Persona 5. Well, no, not exactly that. Something a bit smaller scale than that, but you know.
Everything's small scale compared to that.
No, Persona 5 actually gets a little crazier.
Oh, man.
I don't know, there's no Hitler.
There is no Hitler, but there's something bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Remember who the final boss is, Addy.
I know! I'm making a joke, dude! But, Pink, basically all you need to know, and this is all the spoilers that I can actually give about the final boss, is Persona is a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei. Shin Megami Tensei's final boss, depending on whether you play on the good or the bad side, is either God or Satan. So...
Well, here's the thing, though. Because at first, like, it was just seemed, it's just straight up God or Satan is the final boss. But the last couple Shin Megami Tenseis have been implying that YWWH is not actually the Abrahamic God. Because apparently, like, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, it turns out that YWWH is actually Satan, who is also not Lucifer. And several characters say that God has left the throne of heaven and is playing things from behind the scenes, and God is very much a good guy, which is the opposite of what the other Shin Megami Tenseis have said, generally, where the Abrahamic God has been depicted as a bad guy. So I am going to assume this is just a kind of retcon of the whole series, but they are slowly kind of doing a narrative that Persona 5 is a part of, implying that no, YWWH is not the Abrahamic God. He has never been the Abrahamic God, but is instead Satan, or rather the Shaitan, as in like the angel that accused Job, has usurped the throne of heaven and is turning heaven and the heavenly host evil.
You know, I find it really funny whenever freaking like y'all make a correction for something that sounds vaguely more foreign, and it's just a fucking Hungarian pronunciation.
Ah,
Because
Yeah. Wait, does the Hungarian pronunciation for Satan is just the shaitan?
Shatan, yeah.
That's actually more correct. The original Hebrew, it's called the shaitan. And it literally means the accuser.
Yeah,
and it was used for the angel that accuses Job, the angel that says that Job would not be so faithful to God if his life wasn't so good.
Yeah.
And that is also why some translations of the Old Testament have it be the devil instead of an angel that accuses Job. Just a little bit of Old Testament history for the day, I guess.
I suppose. But whenever you go into like anime freaking background stories like with Shin Megami Tensei and shit like that, it's like, oh, but is it real God or is it not God? Like I do sometimes get the freaking the urge to just freaking to edit complicated under it. Like that's a gag where if we did more editing on these podcasts, which is to say at all, then that would be a thing where one of us just starts talking about like this very complex thing that doesn't make any sense if you don't know what's actually being said, and just slowly freaking lower the freaking how much it's legible, and then just start blasting fucking complicated over it. We would get sued so hard. Anyway,
a little bit.
So yeah, a persona happened. Pink decided that we should stick to the Japanese voices because it lets us more Morgana yelling.
Oh, I like the English voices.
And then what else of note was there? We are slowly giving all of the cast different names because Pink can't remember the Japanese names. So
we only have like 4 characters thus far.
Yeah.
It's Vulgar Boy, Daddy, and the cat.
We also have Kawakami, who's a robot.
This is true, and Mr. Chin.
Yes, and Humpty Dumpty, who's the principal.
Indeed.
And that's about all.
I forgot about Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. He doesn't really exist. Like, even when he's on screen, he barely exists.
But he's so large.
He is large, but he's not in charge.
He gets thinner.
How dare he ruin our jokes? Unbelievable.
See, when I'm going to assume Daddy in this case is the guy who, Sojiro. See, in my head, I can't remember his name as Sojiro. In my head, I just think of him as Scorpion because he has Scorpion's voice actor.
When I don't remember his name, I usually just call him the boss. Because that's...
Yep. That's what the characters call him.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone ever refers to him as Sojiro. Okay, Futaba probably refers to him as Sojiro a couple times, doesn't she?
I think so, and also there's the parcel delivery guy at the start of the game, and he's the only other character who refers to Sojiro as Sojiro.
Yeah. Which, Sojiro's probably... I'm going to be honest, it's such a weird thing. Sojiro... You know what? I'm not going to talk about it. I want to see Pink's take on Sojiro, assuming you haven't spoiled too much about Sojiro's arc to him.
I haven't talked about anything. They all even how the world works. I'm keeping a secret about how the world works so that Pink doesn't know, because I don't know if it's spoilers. I have not said anything about the characters. I think the only times when I bring up actual plot elements with the characters is when the game is telling them, and I'm just like, okay, let's speed things up so freaking Pink will understand it for sure.
Okay. I do want to go ahead and say, though, there is a little bit of an assumption that you're used to the past Persona games and that you know about the existence of, opposite real world and shadow world as kind of a reflection of the collective human psyche, correct?
We haven't went to the shadow world variant yet, but, well, they do explain it in the game, I believe.
Yeah. But, all that also kind of goes back to the Nyarlathotep versus... oh shit! What's the Do you remember the name of the good like god that helps in Persona 1 and 2 and is still subtly helping in Personas 3, 4, and 5?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
Because he was Carl Jung's Carl Jung made him as like an explanation for like fuck. I can't remember.
I know the guy.
But he's the boss.
It's the guy in the blue mask in the first game, right?
Yes. You know who I'm talking about. And he is Igor's boss. The big man over the big man, as it were.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. Shit.
Oh, there's another thing that you're missing out on because you've got the Japanese voices on. You're missing out on the Igor voice.
No, we have Igor voice. It's just reused Igor voice from Persona 4. But we have like we didn't just go straight with the Japanese voice. Pink like we played until the middle of the second infiltration. Well, like I'm going to get the second infiltration, but it's the one where you get the all-out attack tutorial. But we played until the middle of that with the English voices, and then I switched to the Japanese one just to check it out. And Pink said that he doesn't have a preference, and neither do I. So he just went, okay, I guess we're gonna yell funnier in Japanese.
I think you should switch back to English voices just for Igor. Because for me, like it's I'm very fond of the Persona 5 voice for Igor, where he just sounds so fucking evil. And like you understand what I'm getting at here, right? Because you understand the big part.
Yes,
yes. Okay, you understand why
I remember the plot. Yes.
And I'm trying to remember. There's some other voice that I really liked in Persona 5 on the English version that I just can't disassociate the character with. English Morgana is nothing to write home about, though you'll be hearing her a lot.
Him.
Fuck. Well, no, it's a female voice actor.
It's a female voice actor, but Morgana spends a lot of time telling people that he's a boy, so...
Yeah, I just always forget that, because woman's name, woman's voice, you know. Oh, shit. Well...
So, Pink, and anything else on Persona?
Other than the initial "I'm confused" comment I made earlier, not really.
All right, you will be less confused eventually. Remember what Igor said. Remember what Igor said. Things will make sense eventually.
Yeah, Igor has to say that at the start of every goddamn game.
Igor has said it every time we've met him so far.
Yeah, he says it a lot up until suddenly the big revelation, and then he'll just pop in to say, "Now things make sense, don't they?"
And now for something completely different.
Yeah, in Persona 3 and 4 he'd say that. In Persona 5 he says, "Now things make sense, don't they?" Oh, I love rock salt!
So yeah, that, and then I also drew a lot this week, again.
Okay.
So, last week, I did a doodle, and this week, literally that same day that we did the podcast, so I guess last Saturday, yeah. But, I went back and did an actual, like, proper try, but not making that artwork. So here it is. It's okay. I'd say it turned out kind of cute. W looks weird for some reason to me, but I don't know what it is. Probably,
Hang on, I
probably
can't
the
see
eyes.
it because I'm on my fucking phone. Give me a second.
All right.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I don't know how I feel about your eyes, but I don't know what it is about them that I don't like.
I don't know. I think there's something amusing about how massive my eyes are in that art.
Yeah. So that, and then the rest have all been like lower effort things, just because like oh yeah. So I got my old TV back. It's working again. We got it fixed.
All right.
So I spent some time just like doodling shit, because I was like, oh, I need to get used to actually seeing things again.
Huh.
So here's the boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So something like this was one of those things where I just go. I just start drawing something, and I'm just like, I guess this looks like that part of this character, so I'll just make that character. And then that's how Luigi came to be. And then Mario I just made because I was like, well he needs to have a friend. Then I freaking like I've been messing around with my brush sizes and just like which brushes I use just a lot recently, just because I don't know what I like. Like a lot of times when I use like thicker brushes, they I feel like things turn out better looking in the end. But at the same time, I don't know how much I like the thicker brush look. I did go back and fix I did go back and fix one drawing I made, and then I also just remade an all the bad drawing that's not any better, but hey, it looks funny. So there's that.
Ah.
The Platypus Bear looks okay. It looks better than the last one I made. There has been improvement.
Indeed.
Then for whatever reason I was just like, yeah, whatever, freaking. He just wants to be a part.
Ah.
He just wants to fit in. This one I may go back and actually like give a shit about the line work. Because it could be fun.
That
A funny
looks
picture.
like
Yeah.
That's what I imagine Bison looked like at 10 years old.
I mean, I did kind of start drawing in a chibi style just because it's easier. But yeah, like I feel like this is like, you know, just because these are our boys, I feel like it's a funny representation of what happens whenever we start talking about fighting games. But yeah, I also made the boys in Persona, and and also Robo Kawakami. At least her head. I wanted to make
What the fuck?
I wanted to make an actual drawing of Robot Kawakami, but I couldn't. Only the head looked good. My mom said that Joker looks like Harry Potter, and she's not wrong.
No.
Hey, yeah, he does, honestly, yeah.
The Morgana is the best, because Morgana, like, no matter how much I tried to stylize Morgana, it just didn't work. Like, even when I tried to just copy the way he stylized in the game, so I just went, you know what, I'm just gonna draw fucking Garfield.
Yeah, John, I'm gonna need you to go to sleep. Let's get this Monday over with.
And then let's see, there is one thing I wanted to send to W, but that is regarding the personal playthrough. Where did I put it? Any year now, and you will see the cult of personality. There it is. So this is basically a summary of what's been happening in the personal playthrough.
You made your name ? Pussy.
Not question mark. No. Pink said that he wanted a name.
Music note pussy.
Yes.
There we go.
Pink said he wanted to make something with a music note for the name, and then he said, "All right, just asterisk, so it looks like something deplorable." I was going to suggest Pussy Destroyer as a joke, so I wrote it in with the thing, the
So
music
every
notes.
character refers to your first name as Pussy. I
Yes.
get it now.
But yeah, so
But
yeah.
it'll look a lot less funny and just more dumbass when some character refers to you as Mr. Destroyer.
No, that's the thing. Destroyer didn't fit because well, for one, there's not enough letters in the last name, and for another, so it would be either destroy with an e at the end, or destroyer with an r at the end. But because I wanted to put musical notes on both sides, he's musical note, pussy destroy, musical note. Or if you want to actually say it properly, pussy destroy.
Mr. Destroy sounds like a No More Heroes boss.
Yeah. So our Joker, yes, Joker. So our Joker is called Pussy Destroy.
Oh my god. And
Yeah.
like the Persona 5 main character is probably the most subtle of the Persona characters, so you give him the dumbest name possible.
Yeah.
He's such a chill, laid back guy, and his name is Pussy Destroy. God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh god, he sounds like a Bond villain.
Like we have a lot of interesting characterization for Joker in that series. I don't know how much I want to spoil and how much you should just go and watch the series when it comes out like 2 months from now. But
Oh god, you do the Persona 4 thing where you just pick every weird dialogue option possible.
no, I think the weirdest thing Joker has said is meow so far. But
yeah, Persona 5, Joker can't really be a weirdo, but Yu Narukami can absolutely be a freak.
But no, we just made up our own shit to make Joker stand out.
Ah, okay.
Joker may or may not have a thing for chains, you know. Anyway.
Okay, have either of you ever seen the bit in Persona 4? One of the more bizarro mechanics was whenever you came home from school, you could check the fridge for leftovers, and you could eat the leftovers, and they'd have different effects. One of the potential things you can open up the fridge and see is Yu looks in and just sees like it's a plate of dirt that is cultivating a small ecosystem, some grass and some other weeds. This seems to be your niece's science project. Eat it? Yes or no?
I see.
I don't know what it does if you eat it, but that is, for one thing, stupid, for another thing, insane, and for another thing, a dick move.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine explaining that in class. All right, Nanako, where's your science project? Oh, my fucking uncle ate it.
I feel like I don't know the full context behind
cousin, not uncle, cousin, whatever. Fuck it.
But I obviously don't know the full context for the Persona 3 thing. But I feel like the more you go back with at least the modern Personas, the weirder the characters get, because freaking Joker is mostly normal. You can do that. Whatever the hell the Persona 3 protagonist's name is a door.
The Persona 3 protagonist is just depressed.
The Persona 3 protagonist is a door.
He's a door in the end, but up until then, he's depressed man.
He's depressed because he can't be a door, and then he achieves his dreams.
I don't know about that.
I know about the ending, dude. Well, I know what happens in the ending.
It's a cool thing to do, but it's probably not something you'd want to do.
Yeah, I know what happens in the ending. I don't know the full context behind it because I didn't watch a full playthrough of Persona 3, but I do know what happens in the ending.
Yeah, it's a thing that there's kind like Persona, they've been trying to go on a per entry basis, but there is a kind of recurring feeling, especially with what Arena talked about, of they may go back there one day, and if they do, that would have big implications.
What do you mean they might go back there?
Persona 4 Arena, several of the characters are trying to look into how to get him back.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. I also forgot about freaking Lizzie having Thanatos.
Yes. Well, I think she just inherited like everything he left behind.
The dashing
Which, I
good
mean, she
looks,
has the book,
Thanatos,
yeah.
the rap medal.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, it was inherently just immediately kind of weird with Arena that it revealed, oh yeah, Persona 3 and 4 happened very much in the same universe, because that's like, oh, so this Shadow Realm stuff just happens every now and then, huh?
Yeah.
Because Persona 2 was already set, Persona 1 and 2 were already set in the same universe, but like, it was really difficult to find the Easter eggs that showed that they're set in the same universe. Persona 4 Arena is just straight up like, oh yeah, the Persona 3 and Persona 4 casts meet and they get into fight.
Yeah. And then there's also Persona Q, which I don't remember how canon Persona Q is at all. Probably not. I don't like the real way to tell if it's canon or not is whether or not Tree's protagonist is in the game, and I feel like he is.
It's all. I think it is. It doesn't matter whether it's canon or not, because I think what it does is it snatches the Persona 3 cast from the middle of Persona 3 and the Persona 4 cast from the middle of Persona 4, even though those games are like 2 years apart,
But
both
there's
in
also
real life
Q2.
and in the games. Yeah, in both games they do that.
Wait, is it?
Then when it
Okay.
puts them back, it erases their memories.
Ah, okay.
So it doesn't matter whether or not it's canon. Persona 4 Arena has very far-reaching effects on whether or not it's canon. Persona Q doesn't matter.
All right. So yeah,
Which
yeah, go ahead.
we all just gotta pray that Sega is willing to pony up the cat. Not Sega. Is Sega Atlas? Atlas is willing to pony up the cat. Wait, does Sega own Atlas now?
Yes.
We all gotta pray that Sega is willing to pony up the cash to get Arxis to make a Persona 5 Arena. That's all I'm saying.
We gotta pray that Sega kicks Atlas's ass so that they will be given the green light to give the money to Arxis to make Persona 5 Arena.
That may be it, yeah. Which, as sad as it may be, though, Arxis is probably already focusing on Persona 6.
You mean Atlas, but yeah.
Fuck it.
But what color will Persona 6 be? Purple? No, it can be purple because purple is Persona 1.
Is Persona 1 purple? I was thinking
Yes.
Persona 1 is gray.
Well, they released an anniversary picture recently with all of the game's colors being behind the protagonists, and I think purple was either 1 or 2. I forget. No, one was one was tealish. Freaking 2 was purple, 3 was blue, 4 was yellow, 5 was red.
That all makes sense. So honestly, I kind of think of Persona 2 as orange or red, even though those colors are already taken, because like the main guy's persona is that god of the sun.
You know. I don't remember what the second guys or girls. Because there's 2 protagonists of Persona 2.
Well, I'd be happy to see a Persona 6 get announced. I'd be happier, honestly, to see them announce re-releases on modern. No. I'd be happier to see them release announcements that Personas 1, 2, and 3 are getting re-released on modern platforms. That'd be cooler.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even, like... Honestly, I'll take just 3. Like, just release 3's freaking, the version of 3 where you can control the NPCs. Release that version of 3 on the modern consoles. I'll be satisfied with that.
Well, you gotta understand from my perspective, I've played through 3, 4, and 5, so for me, I want to fight Hitler.
But yes, but is it realistic to expect Atlas of all people to release three old games at the same time?
No, because Atlas is terrible about porting forward their old games. It took them this fucking long to port forward Nocturne, and Nocturne's probably the most famous like mainline Shin Megami Tensei game in the West.
Yeah. But there is that announcement in like 2 days.
Ported forward. Oh no, go ahead.
I'm just saying that there is that announcement in 2 days about the announcement of the announcement that something is happening, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't think it'd be Persona 6 if they're showing off the Persona 1 and 2 dudes, you know?
Well, I think
Okay.
I think they said they have like 7 things or something like that lined up for Persona to announce. 7 things.
7 things?
Yeah.
Okay, then there's a good chance they're just going to announce, 1, 2, and 3 getting re-released on modern platforms, Persona 5 Arena, and Persona 6 in one go.
Yeah, and then
In which case, I would come.
they announced Persona 1 dancing in freaking frostlight. I don't know.
I would not come. I would shit. Either which way, something's coming out. Poor Pink has had to sit and listen to us.
Yeah. Pink has taken over the editing job and is currently blasting Complicated on full volume. That's why he muted.
How'd you know?
But yeah. What else did I do? I feel like I did something else, but I don't remember what. Yeah?
I like how Misa talking about coming and shitting in response to video games doesn't get Pink to say ew. But you mentioning Complicated gets him to go, ew.
Did Pink say you?
No.
Not like you said ew or no.
Because I guess the mute didn't occur fast enough. But I said, how did you know?
That's what I heard.
Oh, all I heard was no.
That was projecting.
Like that was the part you were supposed to.
W, this is something that I've told Pink. I don't know if it was a recording, maybe not. But I have thought about us three like making freaking a Spotify playlist of just like random assortment of songs and just sending it to each other. And then so we can be like, all right. I don't know what I don't know how much freaking discussion we'd get out of those, but hey. So what else did I do, if anything at all? I don't remember. So W, what have you done this week?
Well, I finished moving in.
Very nice.
Yeah, moving sucks.
Yeah, it does.
There's a lot of land here, but I mentioned it on the floor.
I found the last thing I made. So I also drew the artistic rendition of what I see Joker as whenever they do a close up in the game.
Okay. Okay.
That's it from my stage.
Anyways.
So yeah, moving in.
They got a tank shooting range next to my house. It's cool to look at. It's not so cool when they test the tanks out in the middle of the night.
How inconsiderate.
You know, tank shots are loud.
A little bit.
Shakes the house. It's very fun. Wakes up the dogs.
To combat the tanks, you are blasting turn down for what? At full volume, 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be a good way to have one of the tank testers be like, oh, yeah, sir, I don't know how the tank just missed by that much mileage and just blew up that house. I don't know, sir. Stranger things have happened. Look, just send in a black bag team and it never happened, okay? The only 3 things I've really done this week that are worth talking about, I have played and in about in under 2 hours beaten Portal 1. I've played Portal 1. Yeah, I played Portal 1 before because I had the orange box on Xbox 360. Never made it that far because I was a dumb kid who didn't understand puzzles. And now as an adult, I'm like, God damn, that game was surprisingly easy. But yeah, it's a fun game. It's aged very well. Graphically, the textures look a little rough up close, but I mean, it's 2007. What can you do? And I mean, I was running the game in fucking 4K, even though my monitor isn't 4K. My monitor isn't even considered HD by modern standards. But it is what it is. But it was pretty good. That GLaDOS voice actor really carries the game plot-wise. Also, I don't know how the stupid cake meme got started. Because, like, cake is mentioned like 3 or 4 times in the game, and it's already an overplayed gag when the game does it. So how people are like, oh, this is comedic genius, the cake's alive.
I mean, you have to consider.
I don't know.
You have to consider. Back then, all we had was all your base all belonged to us, and this is Sparta.
Yep. And then so shortly after that, arrow in the knee. Fuck me.
Yeah. Oh no. There's one other meme that we had, which was "You're the man now, dog."
I like that one actually. That one's good because like it's probably a lot less humorous for you guys because neither of you guys are movie guys, but it's fucking hilarious because it's Sean Connery, James fucking Bond, Henry Jones fucking Senior, who tries to like put on a like who is trying to understand the black kids, the black youth of today, and say you're the man now, dog. It's just too good. It's just so fucking stupid. And like the great thing is, like I'm probably one of the only people who experienced that meme in the intended way because I'd not heard the meme until I had saw the movie that it came from. And for a lot of people, they saw it probably repeated ad infinitum. For me, I was watching, it was just like some usual cheesy ass movie where Sean Connery is mentoring some inner city youth black kid on how to be a writer and not shoot people and get in drug deals, you know, that kind of 90s movie. You know, good and wholesome for the kids, right? That whole thing. And it's just like, as Sean Connery is teaching him, Sean Connery is just like shouting at him, hit those keys, hit the keys on the type thing. Yes, do it. You're the man now, dog. And the really great thing is I watched it while I was in high school in a class full of kids, and we all fucking giggled at it. It's just not what you expect to come out of Sean Connery's mouth. And I just know that Addy is over there shaking his head at like this level 0 fucking weak meme game.
Look, dude, stinkbug exists. There's the bottom of the barrel. There's the hole under the barrel. There's hell, and then there's wherever the fuck stinkbug came from.
And then there's Dong Dong Never Die.
Dong Dong is above the barrel, dude. Dong Dong's scary. Dong Dong's great. It has fucking red vine sauce.
Dong Dong is better than it has any right to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so Portal's.
Sorry, I was just going to say like Dong Dong has red vine sauce and Shin Mario.
Yes, Dong Dong has a like weird princess character that summons Optimus Prime. Okay, so Portal. The other thing I want to say about it, it is really cool how like for the first few levels, like they mentioned, you know, this is aperture science and so on. But you probably won't notice. And if you haven't played through Half-Life 2, then the words aperture science wouldn't have meant anything to you on your first playthrough of Portal. If you have played through the Half-Life 2 episodes, then you'd be like, oh, aperture science? Because aperture science is a relatively important plot thing in Half-Life 2. Because they dropped a boat in the middle of Antarctica somehow. And all the characters, they never mention what exactly is important about the boat, but Half-Life Episode 2 is about you need to go see that fucking boat.
Ah.
And sadly, because Half-Life Episode 3 never came out, we still don't, 15 fucking years later, we don't know what's important about the goddamn boat. But the boat is there, and it's mentioned, oh yeah, Aperture Science somehow dropped a boat in the middle of a goddamn glacier. We have no idea how, but there's something important about it. Well, Portal starts off and it's like, welcome to Aperture Science. We're testing the portal gun. So immediately there's like, okay, so that's how the boat got there. But then, even if you don't like know Half-Life 2 that well, I love the moment where you finally escape the testing facilities and you're running through the bowels of the Aperture Science facilities and you see a little boardroom where a PowerPoint display showcase is being shown to an empty room of why Aperture Science is better than Black Mesa. And that one immediately lays it out of, oh shit, this is it set in the Half-Life universe. And I don't know why, but I'm just a sucker for the twist of this game or the movie is actually set in the universe of something else that you know. I can see where someone would see it as a little hackneyed and a little bit like sad that it doesn't make its own universe. But I mean, I'm a sucker for when it has like just immediate massive implications like that, you know, a twist like that, right?
Yeah.
Split does the same thing.
I feel like,
oh no, go ahead, Addy.
I feel like Portal works better for that because we don't know when the Portal is happening, and we don't know when Half-Life is happening, so it could be around the same time. And like
figure it out.
The other thing that the other game that does this, the games that do this that I can think of is Last of Us and Uncharted, and that one removes all of the implications immediately because Nathan Drake is probably pretty fucking dead.
Oh, that one doesn't really. That one's not really cool though, because that's an awkward fitting together. I think
that's what I'm saying. Yes, you figured it out. And that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, all that does is it puts a damper on the Uncharted storyline because it's like, oh, all these characters are going to fucking die. And it also kind of makes Last of Us not really work tonally anymore. Because, like, isn't there a ton of supernatural bullshit in Uncharted?
Yes. There's Yeti. No, I'm not telling you if it's the actual animal or the wrestler. It's just the Yeti.
Aren't there like Aztec Nazi zombies in Uncharted 1?
Aztec Nazi golems.
Okay.
I don't remember if they're zombies or not.
Last of Us is very much a like trying to be hard science, no magic setting. As you can tell by their proud insistence, no, they're not zombies. They're just fungus-infected clickers that eat people and are undead. They're not zombies. So the fact that it's set in Uncharted, where magic is very much real, kind of makes it stupid, you know?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Like, Portal fits into the Half-Life universe just fine, because Portal's already, like, Half-Life 1 starts off with crazy bullshit being done with portals, so Portal fits in just fine. But, yeah, either which way, my favorite moment of universe bringing together, though, is actually related to what you mentioned, Addy, where we don't know exactly how the timelines coalesce between Half-Life and Portal, where near the end of Portal 1, as you're getting closer to making your escape, GLaDOS just outright tells you, you do not want to go out there. You have no idea what I am holding back. As in, yes, the Combine invasion has very much happened. If Chell goes out there, she's going to get fucking murked by head crabs or barnacles or something.
She has robot legs. She can manage.
She doesn't have like.
Well, it's not robot legs. It's like, isn't it like she has robot freaking leg replacements?
She's got like a little kind of. They're like metal plates that have just been stuck into the back of her legs. That are just like, they adjust for falls, something like that. Well, barnacles would just kill her instantly, because the only reason barnacles don't instantly kill Gordon is because the HEV suit has a neck brace that protects against it.
Ah.
Yep. That's why NPCs always die instantly to barnacles in Half-Life 2. Scientists don't die instantly to barnacles in Half-Life 1 because they just have too much stupidity to die.
Yeah.
Like that. They have to have pure lead pumped into them to die. And yeah, Portal 2, too many games with P's. Portal 2 just straight up ends with Chell finally getting out, which, if there was ever going to be a Half-Life sequel or a Portal sequel, has massive implications. Like
Portal Life 3.
Valve in such an awkward place now, because like I can see some people like neither of you guys really care about Half-Life, so I guess it doesn't matter if I spoil it. But Half-Life Alex changed the timeline and changed the ending of Half-Life 2 Episode 2.
I see that. I
So
saw
that-
that. I watched it.
Yeah. And so now Eli is still alive. His death at the hands of that advisor was undone, but now Alex is like the G-Man's new agent in place of Gordon, which has massive plot implications and is like an entire rewrite of the major plot beat of Episode 2, which I can feel where some people would say that's kind of taking the wind out of Episode 2's ending. At the same time, the guy who wrote like the entire Half-Life series up until Half-Life Alex was Mark Laidlaw, and he quit. So they kind of had to change everything because they're going off of an entirely different creative mind now. They can't really keep doing Mark Laidlaw's story because, I mean, evidently Mark Laidlaw's story wasn't even working, given that they decided never even really started work on Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
I mean, Half-Life Alyx's mere existence and the fact that its ending actually has plot significance, to me, implies that Valve is at least trying to work on Half-Life 3 now, you know? Which,
Maybe.
I mean,
yeah.
Would there be any crazier holy shit it's actually happening release in gaming to happen? Anything crazier than Half-Life 3?
I don't know, but I honestly wouldn't care.
I can't think of anything.
Because, I mean, Duke Nukem Forever did eventually happen, and of course it was shit, but, like, people weren't waiting on Duke Nukem Forever as much as Half-Life 3 because who cares about Duke Nukem's story, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Huh. I mean, I'd say personally, for me, an actual quality Silent Hill 5 would be pretty great, especially if they just have the balls to number it Silent Hill 5.
Yeah. But please make it the one that's being developed by like Capcom or whatever, and not the one by the people who didn't, and not by the people who were like, yo, if you have trauma, kill yourself.
Yep. Not Bloober Team. Please God, not Bloober Team. We can only hope, you know?
Yeah.
Because if Bloober Team's in charge, who's ready for another downcoming?
Yep.
What? We can extend it. Downcoming of memories. The original Downcoming of Memories. There we go. Origin Downcoming of Memory Origins. Downcoming of Origin Memories.
There was also
there
was also the game on the Vita that was like Diablo. What was that one's name?
Oh, that's the one I'm going with. Book of Memories. I'm not trying to make fun of Shattered Memories. Shattered Memories is actually pretty good.
Okay.
I would recommend you watch like a playthrough of Shattered Memories, like the Super Best Friends playthrough.
I have.
Yeah, it's good.
I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but like the I didn't mind the story parts. There was just a lot of like I don't blame people for not liking it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, gameplay wise, it's entirely different, but the story is also entirely different. Like, as an attempt at making a Silent Hill game that is like going in an entirely different direction as a spinoff, I think it's really good as a spinoff that goes in an entirely different direction, you know?
I mean, it's not even the direction itself that I have an issue with. It's just the way they pull it off, I guess, because my main point of contention with Shattered Memories is how much in the later levels like all of the clues are just like freaking like all of the things that you need to do are in the mazes, and you pretty much just need to get lucky in getting to the places where you need to be, and then you need to pray that the V recognizes that you're trying to point at the thing you're trying to point at.
Yeah, technology is a serious problem with Shattered Memories.
And like that's the biggest issue that I have with Shattered Memories, because overall, like I don't bloody care really. Like it's okay. I don't have a particular issue with it.
I think it was a very, very, very cute idea for a story, for it to have fundamentally been, what if this non-canon ending to one of the games was actually canon? So you know what I'm talking about, right?
I think so. So what you're saying is the Bloober team are going to make a Silent Hill 2 where we continue James's journeys after the dog ending.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, if they do that, then I may be interested. But that's pretty much the only way that they can make me interested after that game.
I would think like I don't want to set things in stone. If I'd wait until after reviews, because like the vital thing would just have to be like it could just be a problem with one writer, you know?
Yeah.
And somebody just needs to tell him he's wrong, or just fire him, I guess. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, just to get my week over, Portal, pretty good. It's a pretty good, well-aged puzzle game, FPS thing, and portals are still a very cute concept. It is still really neat, all the different things you can do with them. It's still really neat how you can play with physics in that game. I really like it. And yeah, short game though. So if you just want something short and sweet, Portal's pretty good for that, and it's near always dirt cheap on Steam. The other two things I played, I put most of the past couple weeks into Total War 3 Kingdoms. So, Total War 3 Kingdoms is fucking great. From the objective perspective, Total War 3 Kingdoms is probably the best Total War all around. There are loads of Total Wars that do individual things better than 3 Kingdoms, but all things considered, looking at everything objectively, holistically, 3 Kingdoms is the best Total War game. It has no glaring weaknesses. Every other Total War game has at least one glaring weakness. Every single part of 3 Kingdoms is strong. It is a lot of fun. The politics system is a lot of fun to play around with. The unit roster is really cool. You get some units that are a bit more usual, some units that are a bit more unusual, some units that look pretty cool, some units that are just dirt cheap peasants with spears. The diplomacy system in that game is fantastic. Sieges in that game are, for the most part, a lot of fun. I think towers are a bit too strong, but Total War has a general problem where towers and sieges are way too strong. It's not at least Total War Warhammer sieges, where towers are not only strong, they also have range that cover the entire map, invalidating the existence of fucking siege weaponry, but, you know, whatever. I've got videos on my channel talking about that shit. Fuck that. That game. So Total War has always had this kind of thing where it's a general, like, objective quality thing. Well, no, it's not. It's a general thing that people tend to agree on. Oh, well, snowballing is bad, right? Because you don't want the end game to be too easy. And I think there's part of that that's right. But I think that where people go about it is all wrong. Because while the late game should not be easier than the early game in terms of, like, just outright, like, oh, it's just a farce from now on, I can beat anything. The way Total War games, some of the Total War games have tried to handle it, specifically Warhammer has tried to handle it, is by simply making it where the bigger you are, the less rewards you get for success, for victory. And it doesn't feel like it's so much like, it makes the game feel like it's punishing you for doing well, right? Because what it does is for every army that you have, it raises the money upkeep cost of every army just that you have. The more military you have, the more you pay exponentially. So it really feels like the player's getting punished for the fact that they expand. And it feels like the game is saying, even if you have a country of fucking 30 provinces, you should still only use 1 or 2 armies, which is, of course, ridiculous. 3 Kingdoms does things a lot better. There is like a anti-snowballing thing that's meant to slow you down a bit, but it doesn't feel as bad because, for one thing, the AI in 3 Kingdoms has a tendency to build other big empires that will actually be a threat to you. So it's not so much that where Warhammer, it almost kind of feels like the game, as it goes on, you are having just as hard a time beating small countries as you did at the beginning. 3 Kingdoms doesn't have that. Once you get to the end, once you get into the late game, it's easy to snap up the smaller countries, But a lot of the small countries have turned into big countries, which can be an even match for you. So the challenge kind of changes. It's no longer about one or two armies trying to outmaneuver each other for control of one or two cities. It's now 5 or 6 or 10 armies trying to outmaneuver 5 or 6 or 10 armies for the control of 20 cities, which is a different kind of challenge. It's the same kind of core principles, but it's a different challenge, and it's a lot of fun. And I think that works a lot better. And the other thing that I think works a lot better is that the bigger you get, the more land you own, the more cities you own, there is a stat called corruption that is supposed to represent both currency inflation from coin forgery and also just straight up like government corruption, like tax collectors cutting a little bit off the top, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it gets worse the more land you own. But there's a way to counteract it as long as you're prepared for it. There are government reforms you can do. You can put people in government offices to fix it. And you can also just try and counteract it by building more coin mints, more mints. So there are ways to counteract it as long as you are thinking ahead of time. And there's multiple ways to counter it. You can also just deal with it by parceling out your land to vassals, aka feudalism.
Right.
So there's a lot of things you can do in Three Kingdoms. It's not like one of the problems I'd say Total War Warhammer has. Total War Warhammer battles are phenomenal. They're the best in the series. Three Kingdoms does not have any weak points, but in terms of like the actual battles, which are admittedly like half the game, Warhammer blows it out of the water as much as it blows every other Total War game out of the water. Because no other game can come close to variety, right? Because like other Total Wars, like the unit variety you'll get swordsmen, spearmen, guns, guys on horses, and it's pretty well limited to reality. Warhammer has all those units, and also, dragons, trolls, minotaurs, giants, and things, So, like, Warhammer has an unfair advantage, but at the end of the day, Warhammer still has the more interesting battles and capability for tactical and strategic variety in battles. But in campaigns, in terms of like city management, choosing where to expand, some of the races have some solid options, like different approaches they can do. But for several of the races, there's pretty well always a meta strongest option. And I think that's probably the third biggest problem Warhammer 2 has, after the sieges and diplomacy being crap. And I guess I should just move on to that last final. No, I do want to talk about. I want to mention this because I realize with Total War that a lot of the stuff I talk about like doesn't really have meaning for you guys. But there was one thing that I found very interesting in Total War, and that there's 4 cultures you can play in Total War Three Kingdoms. Because there's the default Han Chinese, there's bandits, there's the Yellow Turbans, and there's the Non-Mon, who are the tribal Southern China. I have not got to play the Yellow Turbans or the Non-Mon yet, but I got to play a little bit of the bandits, and they have a very different gameplay structure. They can take cities and build buildings in their cities, but they generate very little money. However, what you do is when you send out an army and the army raids and sacks cities and loots cities and so on, they build up a loot meter. And if the loot meter is low, they take a bit of debuffs, and they'll even have troops leave the army, desert the army from lack of loot. If the loot meter is too high, then the army gets kind of lethargic because the guys are enjoying the bandits are enjoying the loot too much. So what you do is you return to one of your own provinces, and you have an option to dump loot, which for however long you're dumping loot for, massively boosts the income of all the buildings you have in your cities. It's very strange, but it's a very unique way of doing things that I really like. It's a very interesting way of doing things, and like it'd be interesting to see, like, let's say Civilization try it, right? Could you imagine like that kind of thing, right?
Right.
I thought it was very interesting. I'll have to play more with Three Kingdoms. But yeah, the other thing I want to say with Three Kingdoms is sieges are good in that game. It's incredible to me how So sieges have to be a big part of a Total War game because, like in real life warfare, there's very few field battles, like battles out in the field. Because why would you give up the advantage of walls, right?
Right.
So sieges always have to be fun. And the big problem with Warhammer 2 is that sieges are not fun. And there's a variety of reasons why, which, again, I have whole videos comprised of, but it's so strange to me playing Three Kingdoms, where, again, you spend a lot of time taking cities and very little time actually fighting out in the field. But the sieges are actually fun, whereas Warhammer, you wind up auto-resolving almost all the battles you play in the campaign because you just don't want to play sieges. I found that very strange. And it's how the game should feel. I'm just not used to it. And ideally, Total War Warhammer 3 will fix it. But I wanted to mention it just because I find it very funny. Like, the strangest thing is, in Three Kingdoms and Warhammer, the big difference is every Total War game, walls have archer towers dotting them, just like in real life. And the archer towers, well, in Three Kingdoms, they have a pretty reasonable range, about a little bit bigger than an actual unit of archers would have, but that makes sense. The archers probably have longer range because they're shooting from a taller height. But in Warhammer, these archer towers have longer range than fucking cannons and trebuchets. And for whatever reason, archer tower archers are hyper accurate and their arrows hit with all the force of a nuclear warhead. So Warhammer has this very strange thing where you'll build cannons and trebuchets on stuff. And if you try to use it in, God forbid, a siege to blow apart the enemy's castle, like they did in real life, well, some archer asshole is going to shoot 5 arrows in under 10 seconds that wipe out your entire archer crew.
Dang.
And that's just very strange to me that they balance things that way in Warhammer. Because I think the reason they do that is because they want to force you to rush the walls. Because they think that's more immediately exciting. But it's really just kind of lame. And it makes the player feel like they're losing men unnecessarily, I think.
Right.
So there's what I've said about Three Kingdoms. All right, Warhammer 2. They released the final Total War Warhammer 2 DLC this past Wednesday. The Silence and the Fury. It's a chameleon versus a giant bull.
I like it.
The bull is very angry. With the chameleon comes more chameleons, a flying wind snake, and also a big T-Rex with like fins on the back that spits venom, spits acid. It's sick.
Yeah.
So they just straight up added Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl.
Right.
And it's pretty cool. It looks a bit goofy when it's in melee because it's a big monster still, but it has to push enemy units out of the way. But it flies. It like hovers above the ground even when it's supposed to be grounded. So it's like awkwardly pushing units out of the way that it should just be flying over anyways. And you're just seeing people get knocked out of the way from like the wind under it. Well, like it doesn't have a visual effect for the wind under it. It's weird. And the big thing, though, is that with the bull comes, well, for one thing, a very big and angry four-armed bull and the ugliest fucking frog, dragon, bull, ram thing ever, the Jabberslife, which let me go get a picture of him. And a rework for the Beastmen, who have, for the longest time, been the second worst race in the game. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So they, I'm not going to lie, they kind of fixed the Beastmen by just making them super OP. And honestly, I think they should keep doing that. Because while, by all means, from a balance perspective, that shouldn't make much sense. When you're just making campaigns like this, people pretty well only play them in single player. And let's be honest, there are a lot of people who play these kind of strategy games just as a power fantasy. And people tend to have the most overwhelmingly good reactions towards these crazy, broken races like this, and they're having a very good reaction towards the Beastmen. So as long as it's in single player, it seems to just an easy way to make people happy as power fantasy. But I think it's also partly just because the Beastmen don't suffer from that snowballing thing I was just talking about earlier, where they kind of get worse as the campaign goes on a little bit. And instead, they just pick up speed and snowball. And I honestly think that people, while they would never say it because they think that it makes them sound dumb, I think people enjoy the snowballing because it makes the camp, it's not only a reward for the power fantasy, it makes you feel like you're getting rewarded, you know.
Yeah.
But it also just makes the campaign easier so that you're more likely to finish it instead of just saying, I've got this far in the campaign, I'm going to go play somebody else, right?
Right.
I'm trying to find a good picture of the Jabberslife. It's so hideous. It's so beautiful. Shit. There's not really any good pictures of the one in the game yet, which is a pity because the one in the game looks amazing in terms of how hideous it is. I'll just have to go with the miniature, but the miniature is a little bit less ugly. Here we go. This is a good enough picture, I guess. You're going to have to give me a second, though, to copy the link and everything.
All right.
No problem. We'll be waiting.
I would talk in more detail about the Beastmen rework, I guess, but, like, it's not really too important unless you got... Whoops.
That's horrifying. Put it away.
Big burb.
That's the second goddamn time I've tried to paste a fucking picture link in the Discord and wound up posting that, not that, but something else entirely in there. And I am now twice lucky that I did not post another link in there that would have been much worse.
W really doesn't want us to see all of his Skaven porn.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Ooh.
It's just chaos. It's all right.
Man. Yep, just the good old Skaven plague. I'm turning into a plague monk from too much Skaven porn.
You know, in the meantime, I actually remember the last thing I did.
You know what? Let me just finish up my week with one last statement, and you can go ahead and say, I gotta say, it really sucks that Vermintide 2 is a always online game, because goddamn, I've been hankering for that game. All right, what are you gonna say, Eddie?
I remember the last game I played, games I guess I played this week. So I have taken upon myself, because I don't have a lot of games, as you know. So I have taken upon myself to complete all of Contra. Well, all of the games that I own currently, which is like all of them aside from 4 and the PS2 games. Well,
that sounds like quite an ambitious undertaking.
So I have beaten the arcade version of well, I have already beaten the arcade and the NES release of Contra 1, because of course, but I've also beaten Super Contra, both the arcade and the NES releases. I'm around halfway through Contra 3, and first things first, never fucking play Super Contra on an arcade ever. It is not a game that a man should play.
Okay.
Like, I don't know what it is about Super Contra specifically, the arcade version of Super Contra, but it just stinks very bad.
It's very
not
smelly.
Good. Yes, it's not a good game. Like, it's like Imagine if you were trying to play Metal Slug, but every enemy was Orochi. I guess is a good way to put it.
I have no idea what either of those things are, assuming that Orochi is not. You are not referring to the KOF boss.
I am.
Oh, okay. Well, again, like I didn't have as bad a problem with Orochi as you did.
True.
Different bosses cause different problems for different people, I think.
Yeah. But like Super Control on the NES is a remake, according to Konami, at least, and it is better than the arcade release. So hey, they did something right 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
All right.
And yeah. Contra, as you probably know, always has these segments that break up the running on 2D segments because they try to be imaginative, and the break segments in Super Contra are top down. They are bad. They are not very fun. I mean,
hey, who remembers Akari Warriors?
Yeah, like it may just be a thing where I don't enjoy those parts because I straight up dislike top down shooters, but. Like, genuinely, I think the only top-down shooter I ever liked was Enter the Gungeon. And even that's dancing on a freaking sharp edge. But yeah. Freaking, yeah, that. Then, what else can I say about Super Contra? It exists. It's not the most remarkable game of all time. Contra 3 is most other people's favorite. There is a large difference of opinion between me and those people.
I only ever hear about Contra 3 from you, so what I always hear is Contra 3 is popular, except with you.
Yeah. Like, the thing for me, I guess, is just, like, Contra 3 has a lot of good gameplay additions, like the ability to switch between two weapons, and then the things that those allow, and the ability to press in a button to be able to, like, for the ability to stay stationary and then shoot in all directions like that. Those are good ideas. I just wish I just wish Metal Slug didn't influence them. I guess is the best way to put it, because there's a lot of enemies, like normal everyday enemy types that take multiple shots, and those existed in the original game as well. But the difference between these and those is that these are just literally the normal foot soldiers, and those guys were like fucking people with turrets, and they were stationary, and so it made sense that they fight like that they took more than one shot. It was not just one dude that takes 4 shots instead of 1 for some reason.
I'm sorry, I had to step out for just a second.
I'm just complaining about the freaking the enemy having HP while you don't.
That seems like a tradition for shoot 'em ups, doesn't it?
No, well, it wasn't a thing it wasn't really as much of a thing in Contra, and when it was, it wasn't a thing in the original Contra, and when it was, because there are a couple of normalish enemies that do show up more often. Like, you know, they're not like mini bosses or anything, and they are there, but those enemies make sense because, like, one of them is a guy on a turret. It makes sense that the turret would have a shield, so it would take more shots. Other one is a fucking tank car. That probably takes more than a shot to kill. And, you know, like things like that. In Contra 3, normal foot soldiers can take more than a shot, and they don't like, their design doesn't reflect that they need more shots. Is I guess what I'm complaining about.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my issues with Contra 3, and I just don't like any of the big additions that they like. Okay, not the big additions, because I doubt about the big additions. I do like those, but like, I don't like the race stages in these either, because they are not only top down, but you turn with the fucking bumpers.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
You know, I was thinking, top-down shooters, you know, they're fine, but you know what they're really missing? Tank controls.
Yep. So yeah, that's sure is a thing that exists. And then another break type is they call them high speed 2D levels or whatever, where you're on a motorcycle and you shoot like that. I mean, those are okay, but I still don't like. I don't like them because they're just like they're auto scrollers, more or less. They're the elevator levels of Contra.
Yeah.
So yeah, that. Then I also played the Game Boy game because that's included, Operation C. It's okay. It has parts of Contra 3. But it's mostly based on the first two the NES parts of the first two games because the Game Boy didn't really have Mode 7 and stuff like that. And it's all right. It's not great, but it is very 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 recognizable. Oh whoa, fucking hell.
All right.
Then we come to the last game. Contra Hardcore is a game that whenever like I have recorded Contra with both you and Goku, and I have showed both of you Hardcore because Hardcore it's called there's a good reason they called it Hardcore. Fucking hell, that game was directed by Michael Bay. I don't know if you remember
You've shown
Hardcore.
me it, yes.
Yeah. So Pink, Contra Hardcore has a feature where if you shoot an enemy, they explode, but the explosion remains on screen for, I don't know, like half a minute, and it obscures 25% of the screen.
Why?
I don't know. To make things hard, I guess.
Interesting.
And I haven't been able to really freaking progress a whole lot in it because, I mean, well, of course, freaking it's fucking Contra, and it's even like Contra Hardcore is both the probably the fastest Contras, at least one of the fastest Contras. Also, the explosions stay on screen, and I know numerous other things that make it harder. Like for example, the maximum amount of lives that you can have being 3.
Oh.
Well, the maximum you can start out with anyway. But yeah.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Yeah, it is different, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference when the only way to really get health in.
I would love it if you just like go for like a 4th life in the
Discord ate that.
Yep.
I will go ahead anyways. I think I'm probably gonna have to head out in a second anyways.
All right. But yeah, so the main takeaway from playing Contra Hardcore is that well, look, I just need to introduce y'all to probably one of the best Contra characters, Bradley Fang, who is a fucking werewolf with mecha arms. Where one of them is a minigun, and one of the weapon upgrades you can get is that he changes out the minigun to a second fist so he can beat people.
My upgrade is I stop using guns. Wait,
yes. What? Bradley Frank does not need a gun. He only needs these hands to kill the fucking Red Falcon. So yeah, I like Contra Hardcore is one of those games where I wish I was better at it so I could actually play. So yeah, that's all I had to really say about Contra so far because I've only beaten like half of the series.
All right, can we call it a podcast then?
Yes.
Well, Addy, for several podcasts now, you've said bye ahead of time. Where is it now?
They're all used up.
Oh no, we need to put more buys in our buy
We need to
account.
restock.
Let me check in the back if you have any more buys.
No,
we ran out.
Ah, shit.
I may have actually just walked to the back and checked my phone though. So
Yeah, that's true. What if I offer sexual favors?
Now that changes things.
No.
All right. Well,
Bye.
see you later.